little girls are actually occupied, so I'm going to take a few minutes and sneak in some good kitchen and dining room cleaning today.
Can I go to my desk?
Oh no, you can't take your computer in there. Huh? Trav, you're gonna go with your uncle and look for work boots. I know, so as soon as Dad gets out, get a quick shower and then you're gonna go do that. Okay, so it's winter time, which means random stuff just gets left laying out. Look at lettuce for the chickens that they didn't eat, different things, and we're just not outside as much because it's cold and we don't want to be outside when it's icy and nasty. So anyways, we're going to come out today. Everybody's in charge of going around, picking stuff up, straightening up. We've got some stuff that needs to get burned and different general tidiness stuff. So we've had a lot of rain lately, a lot of wind, so there's leaves everywhere, kind of just general mess. And things just need to get tidied right now, today, before the next class starts. So we're gonna go ahead and just give everybody a job. And I've got trash bags out. The kids love to bring stuff out and they like litter it all over the yard for various games that they're playing. And then it never gets picked up and it just kind of lives here and it drives me crazy. And I feel like they get away with it more in the winter just because it's nasty out, so I'm not outside as much. And yeah, that's getting tackled today. So I'm gonna put the camera down and start cracking the whip. I'm dying and completely out of shape because I've been shoveling stuff and I don't normally do that. I've got like, I'm not talking to you, Siri. I've got like a few minutes. I need to go inside, get the kids set up. They have co-op class today because it's Thursday. We have co-op Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You guys will see this on Friday, but I've got to get in, get them set up. They were huge helps. They got so much done. Again, just random stuff that gets littered all over the place, things we think we're gonna get back to. And then especially it's winter time, so we're not outside as much, and then stuff just accumulates. So totally kicked butt, got stuff picked up. It is like drizzly, rainy, but not too bad actually. It's kind of nice that it's a little bit cooler out because I'm sweaty. So getting stuff burnt. We got the basement pretty much cleaned up, straightened up for what needs to be done in there. We moved stuff out here, got rid of a ton of stuff, loaded up the back of my brother's truck so it can go to the dump, which is awesome. Love getting rid of stuff. I kind of took the pressure washer and just kind of cleaned up after I used the leaf blower and got stuff out of the way. So again, I mean, our house isn't pretty by any means. It's old and kind of not doing so hot in most ways, but done is better than perfect. It may not be gorgeous and completely remodeled and like an amazing before and after, but it's cleaned up, it's tidied up. Stuff that we don't need, we've gotten rid of. So in theory, the things that we have left are the things that we actually use and need. My brother is doing a burn pile over here, so he's got some stuff burning. Now I need to get in, get the kids set up in class. I need to make sure that the basement is done, and then I need to clean our entire house before our family apologetics class at 3 o'clock. So I need to chop, but so far so good, getting it done. I'm really out of shape. holy schpoly, y'all. I have like 10 minutes to get the kids up here set and get down. We've got our Case for Christ Family Apologetics class, so I've got to get down for that. We're all ready. Outside is cleaned, pretty cleaned, as clean as it's gonna be. The basement is pretty clean and tidy. I have a couple things I need to do down there that I'm hoping to do as soon as class is over while I'm down in my husband's office. I can just tidy those up real quick. Up here is basically clean. I did deep clean the bathrooms last night when we found out all this was going to be happening today. So I got those clean. My room is pretty clean. I just have a couple things to tidy up in here. Kids are in charge of their own rooms, so I'm gonna like make sure everything's okay, but that's it. I've got my vacuum running right now, so our floors will be good and clean. I'm gonna just run the mop over them probably tonight before I go to bed. Other than that, I think this is about as good as it's gonna get because I'm running out of time in my day. And I think I'm gonna be really, really tired tomorrow. So, but other than that, the kids were amazing. They were fantastic helpers. My brother jumped in, he's helping out doing stuff. So it kind of was nice to have this like panicked reason to have to literally get everything done, because now we get to go into the weekend with like literally everything done and nothing that we have to worry about. So that part of it is kind of nice. So I don't know about you all, but my bedroom is always the last bedroom in my house that I ever get to when it comes to cleaning, organizing, decluttering, anything. And so it ends up looking a lot like this, more than I'd care to admit. But I've got to get this cleaned and put together because this is also the only space that I can record my awesome Mama Bear collective videos that we're doing in our membership group. So happy Saturday, come hang out with me. Let's get this room in order. Ready? Well, like I said, my bedroom is always the last space in our house that I ever get to. And while I like to keep things simple and minimal because I don't like having a ton of stuff to have to deal with, for some reason, I feel like every time I turn around, my bedroom does not feel simple or minimal or even clean or tidy or anything, because for some reason, it is always the last space in the house that I ever make it to. We went ahead and I before had painted our closets and put a pretty contact paper up on as a wallpaper, just something to dress it up a little bit. And we have two separate closets. We have a his and hers here in our house. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we've moved all of our clothing into one closet. So here's what was my closet, which now is half mine and half his. And we've opened up what was his closet to turn it into an office space. There's things in here that need to be decluttered. I've got a pile of stuff right here that was stuff that's supposed to be going to a thrift store to get donated. We've got office equipment and filming equipment that needs to get set up for my husband's space. I need to finish consolidating the closets. And then there's just some general decluttering and cleaning that needs to happen. So happy Saturday. If it's something that you need to do, maybe you need a little bit of encouragement to get up and go tackle your bedroom. Maybe you've already done all your stuff and you just want to come and watch me. That's totally cool, but that's what we're going to do today. To tackle my disaster of a room, I've got an empty basket here. I'm going to first go ahead. I like to start in one spot and work around like a clock, so that way I'm not bouncing all over the place and getting distracted. I'm going to go through and go ahead and implement the famous 3-wave technique here, where I'm going to go through everything first and foremost. I've got a basket here. Anything that doesn't belong in my room, it's gonna go in here. I'm also gonna throw in anything that is needing to get out to the car so it can get dropped off at the thrift store. So I'm gonna go through, start one spot, work around like a clock, gather all the stuff that shouldn't be here, put it in here. Any of the things that need to get put away real quick, I'm just gonna get them put away real quick. And then I can dig into the next phases of cleaning. But right now I can't even clean because there is just junk everywhere. So first and foremost, we're gonna tackle the junk. is and gathered things up here in my basket that don't belong in here. They need to go. The bag of stuff that needed to go to the thrift store, I had my son just come in and grab and set out in the car. We've got a load of stuff that we're gonna go donate. So that's already taken care of. But as far as all of the surfaces, all of the stuff in here, I have either put stuff away where it needed to go, put it in the basket because it needs to go in a different room, or thrown it in a bag to head out to the thrift store. So everything is at least where it needs to be. May not be perfect, may not be totally clean yet, but at least it's where it needs to be. So that means I'm gonna go ahead and move into the second round here, where again, I'm gonna work in a clockwise rotation, just because otherwise I end up kind of jumping all over the place and then nothing gets done. It just takes a ton of time. I've got my e-cloth, microfiber cloth. I love these things. I will link them down below. We got a set of these like 5 years ago and they're still going strong. And then I have become obsessed with the Safely brand of stuff at Walmart. I was in there one day and I needed some cleaning products, and honestly, they just looked pretty, and so I grabbed them, and come to find out, apparently they're Kris Jenner's whatever line of stuff. Whatever, I don't care. But I really like them, and they smell so good, and they work really, really well. So they are kind of pricey. I don't use them all the time for everything, but they are fun to have when you just, I don't know, sometimes it's nice. I love cleaning with vinegar. I love cleaning with, you know, like baking soda and hydrogen peroxide and natural things like that. That's what I do most of the time. Your e-cloths you can clean without anything, just water, and it does a great job. But sometimes when I'm doing stuff, it's kind of nice to have a little bit of that, it smells good, you know, you kind of have that. So I'm gonna go ahead, use my Safely Universal Cleaner in the Calm scent. And now I'm gonna go through and walls and surfaces, I'm just gonna kind of wipe everything down. Now, my walls I cleaned like top to bottom not that long ago. I usually do it about once a season. I've painted my whole house in semi-gloss white paint, so everything is super, super easy to scrub and clean. So I don't need to do the whole wall, but I am gonna go ahead and do a little bit of spot treatment and clean down all of the surfaces. So round two now that everything is decluttered and tidied up in that way, I can go through and clean it. Ready? Let's go. Smells delicious in here right now. I've got like basic stuff, doors, door jambs, all the surfaces, everything like that has been wiped down. It's my bedroom. I'm not gonna worry about washing my bedding today because I actually just washed my bedding a couple days ago. So it's okay for right now. I'm not gonna worry about that. But now I've got my vacuum and vacuum mop, and I'm going to clean the floors, right? So we start top to bottom, clean everything up there, and now I can go around. I use my attachment to kind of run over my baseboards to pick up the dust and stuff that's there, and then I'll go ahead and mop my floors, and then guys, it's done. Everything is done. I can put, once I clean the floor, I'll put this box that I have here in there. I can put the little rolly desk back here in the office space, and that's it. So much better. So let me get to cleaning these floors, and then we'll see how it all turns out.
1, 2, 3.
nice and clean. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. The floors are shiny, every surface has been dusted, everything is put away. And I even took, when I put my mop and vacuum away, I took the basket out with me and just put away the few things real quick so it's just said and done. So I even took a break in between, broke real quick for lunch, and really just a little bit of time here over the afternoon, and I've knocked it all out, gotten it all done. Even if you don't have, you know, thousands of dollars for some amazing makeover, hello, none of us do, at least it can be clean and tidy and be that little bit of sanctuary space for when you go to bed at night. There's something so nice about walking into a clean, tidy bedroom and getting to go to sleep and have a good restful night. So everything is clean and ready over here. Everything is prepped over here for recording and work office closet space setup. And I think it's been a pretty successful afternoon. Hey friends, I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Home, and today I am going to take you guys along with me for a very realistic, absolutely doable pantry overhaul. So come and hang out with me. Let's tackle this mess of a pantry. Welcome back. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful week. Now be sure to watch this video through to the end so that way you guys can see the grand reveal of this hot mess pantry we have going on here. So I thought this video would be fun. I know there are so many videos out there. There's no shortage of these amazing pantry overhauls. And I know for me, I totally get sucked into watching those too, and I love them. And then I go, I so want to fix up our pantry. Like, our pantry is always a mess. I don't know what it is, but it just always is. And then I start thinking about the cool containers and labels and all of the stuff. And then I go, I don't have $500 to spend on containers for my pantry that my kids probably won't use anyways. And then I give up and I do nothing, and my pantry continues to look like this. Like, let's just be honest, that's what happens. So I need to stop ignoring my poor pantry, and I need to get in here and get it tidied up and cleaned up and just make it, you know, not only cleaner, but easier to access the things that we need, get rid of stuff that's in there that's probably been in there for longer than I care to admit, and make it a pantry that serves our family a little bit better than what this hot mess situation is right now. Now, I will say for our family, we started doing the carnivore diet last year and have really loved it. Got a little more lax towards the end of last year and are kind of getting ourselves back on track now here. And so what's really great about carnivore is I don't really need to have a ton of stuff sitting in my pantry all the time. So we do use some stuff. We're kind of more in that ketovore area. There's a lot in here that I know we really don't need. Old stuff that's sitting in, stuff that maybe we've picked up that we just really don't need to be having in the house that I need to go ahead and get rid of. So all of that is what we are going to tackle here today. And to share with you guys, we live in an older house. It was built in the 70s. It has been a rental for far too long. It's hanging in there, okay? So we make the best with what we've got, and God always provides, and it'll all be good. So I'm talking very realistic here. I'm not talking nice new house. I'm not talking new construction. I'm not talking any of that, okay? We have an older house that needs some love, but we did a couple things here to make our space, yes, a little bit prettier, but also a little more functional. So I wanted to share those with you guys here before we get into the realistic attack of this mess. The few things that I did do, this is our pantry space here. It is a nice big space. The dryer did used to be in here. We've actually moved that down into our basement, which is great because it gave us a lot more room here in the pantry. When we pulled all of that out, the things that we did are, I went ahead and cleaned up the space here really well. These doors were originally like those sliding pull-out doors, and so we did connect them to make them one open door to kind of open like this, instead of having those weird like bifold doors. We did do that. I also took, and in our space here, I painted everything, gave everything. You can change so much with just a fresh coat of white paint, you guys. It is my secret to making everything in this house work. But I did paint everything. We added a contact paper as a wallpaper all around the upper part of our pantry, which is great. It looks prettier. I went with kind of like a marbled look, and it's so easy to clean and wipe up. That's what I love so much about using contact paper is wallpaper, is it makes it really easy to clean, especially little kids and all the yucky little grimy things that happen. It's really nice to be able to wipe that up. So we contact wallpapered that, and then we did have wire shelves on here originally. I took off the wire shelves. I left the original like the support braces that our wire shelves were connected with. I left those, and then I just picked up plain wood from Lowe's that was already cut to the dimensions to make these shelves, and that is what's there on top of all of them. So I love having that now. The wood looks a little bit nicer. We just left it natural, but I really love that. And we don't have the wire racks with stuff falling through all the time and getting super gross. So got rid of the wire racks, put in the wood shelves, added that beautiful contact paper, gave everything a fresh coat of paint. And then down in the bottom where we didn't have shelves, I did pick up, you can see it right here, but I did pick up a wire shelf just from Walmart to have some extra storage down there as well. So those are the things that we kind of did to set up our pantry. They're simple things. It didn't take a lot of time, didn't take a lot of money, but it made the space prettier and much more efficient with the solid wood shelves and the additional shelving down on the bottom. So those were the little things that we did to help that. Let's tour this hot mess pantry. Ready? Alrighty guys, this is what we have going on. So like I said, the wooden shelves, these are just the original supports up there. I love this contact paper, and then my metal shelving, but we've kind of got a hot mess going on in here. So the top shelf is usually more of my, like, I don't want everybody getting into at all times. I do have some soup packets back there. I love Dollar Tree baskets. I try to collect these whenever I'm in Dollar Tree and can. It's kind of nice to have some baskets to help organize stuff, just in case anybody gets sick. My brother is living with us, and so up here is like his specialty things he gets for him that he doesn't want the kids getting into, like a gigantic bag of gummy bears. So we've that up there. Here we do have some rice and noodles, but we don't eat this stuff anymore, and the stuff has been up here for a long time, so I need to check all of that. Yes, this is a picture of Denny Hamlin in my pantry. This is so weird to have to explain, but it was an inside joke between my kids. They hid this in here at Lily's birthday, which was last November, and it's still here, and they think it's the funniest thing ever. So yes, we have a picture of Denny Hamlin in our pantry, just, you know, okay. So this is kind of just a mess. This is supposed to be like some canned goods and like things that I do need to cook with is what's supposed to be up here. So I really need to just go through all of this. And then down here, because we do the carnivore diet, we really don't keep much in our pantry. So usually I keep this. I do keep some bread on hand for the kids so that they can make sandwiches and things. We do use some tortillas, so they usually keep those down here. I try to make this anything that the kids need to access. They will make their own oatmeal, so I keep that down here. We do pancakes for special Sunday breakfast. I keep that down here. And then usually we try to keep this side open so that way the kids have a place that they can put their laptops and stuff that they use for school. So this is supposed to be clean and for laptops, and as you can see, it is clearly not. Down here, we usually try to keep this for drinks. We love sparkling waters. I have some electrolyte water. We have some leftover top ramen, and my husband stopped drinking soda, so we have those sitting there. Our son loves root beer. He has those. So it's kind of just a hodgepodge of mess. These are boxes of things that got packed up and I didn't have anywhere to put them, so they went in here. That's a bread maker I got from the thrift store a couple years ago and have only used a couple times, and it just kind of sits back here. My reusable grocery bags, vacuum, Lord knows what's in there. I honestly have no idea. So this is kind of our starting grid of just whatever on earth this is, besides just a ginormous mess with Denny Hamlin, you know, looking on. So as you can see, there's just, I mean, it's real life stuff, right? It's a mess. There's stuff. I try every week when I do like our menu planning and our grocery ordering, I try to keep every week when I get our groceries, I try to clean out the fridge and keep that organized and put together. And it's been one of those things where I've been focusing on trying to keep the fridge together. And so I usually let the kids just kind of deal with this. And so stuff just gets shoved in here. I really need to get in here because I don't cook with much of this because we do carnivore. So I just honestly don't access this very much. And then the couple times I do look in here, I want to scream because it looks like this and I can't find anything and there's just stuff everywhere. There's food spills everywhere. It's a mess. So this is how I pretty much tackle any project in our house. For me, the first step is to pull everything out. Absolutely everything comes out of here because it's really hard to tackle a space if you can't start with that kind of blank canvas. So I like to pull everything out, and then I like to be able to take the space and clean it really well. So cobwebs up on the top, wipe down the walls, wipe down the shelves, vacuum the floors, just make sure everything is nice and clean so that when I go to put stuff back, I've got this great clean space to work with. So clean it all out, I clean it all up, and then everything that I've out, I'm probably just gonna put it here on the dining room table. Then I can sit there and I can go through stuff. I can categorize things, right? Are they canned goods? Are they things I need for cooking? Are they baking supplies? Are they things the kids need access to? Is it my brother's, 10 pounds of gummy bears that needs to be up on the top shelf? I can go through things and I can break them up into groups and categorize them based off of how we're going to use it. That's how I like to categorize stuff when it comes to the kitchen. I like to have things in the fridge and in the pantry based off of grouped into what I'm using it for. Is this for a dinner? Is this for baking? Is this for snacks? Is this for whatever it is? Break it up by how it's used. And then when it comes time to put everything back in here, I can put it in a system in an order that will work for us when we're needing it. That's why I said the bottom shelf is usually kid stuff, foods that they need to access. Our youngest is 5, so even she can reach that shelf and get the things that she needs. The middle shelf I usually do for me, for baking stuff, things that I'm gonna need for cooking dinner, different ingredients I might use for different things. I can put those on the middle shelf. And the things up on the top are the things that we need to access rarely, or the things that I want to make sure my kids cannot easily be getting into, like again, the bag of gummy bears. So that's how I usually categorize those things. We like keeping the drinks down low just because they are so heavy. Having them down there on the metal shelves works out a lot better. And I need to figure out what to do with all of this just in general. So that's how I like to tackle this. Let's go ahead and get started. Don't tell my brother, but I'm totally stealing some. My word. Again, only takes a few minutes. Normally if the kids were inside, I'd have them help me even clear everything out. That's usually their job, but it's beautiful outside, and so they're outside playing. I don't want to bug them, but everything's pulled out. It's on the table. Without even sorting anything yet, I already can tell a few things. 1, I'm embarrassed at how much food has been wasted. 2, it's a result of my poor job at menu planning. When I am diligent to sit down, make a menu plan, shop off of that menu plan, and then cook off of that menu plan, we have like hardly any food waste whatsoever. The problem is when I'm not diligent to be on top of having a menu plan, we kind of just get whatever we're thinking of or what I think we need or maybe sounds good, and then we never actually get to it. And then you end up with a ton of stuff in here. I did not realize there was this much stuff. There is a lot. Didn't seem like it was that bad till it was all on my table. Now it's pretty bad. The 3rd or 4th, I don't know what number I'm on. The next thing I noticed that I really need to do a better job at knowing the inventory of our pantry. I noticed multiple things that I had heard a kid say, hey, we're out of this or we're out of that. And so I bought more of it. And there are brand new packages that have not been opened. Like, I just bought our kids pancake mix this past week because they said we needed more for our special Sunday pancake breakfast. We have like multiple things of pancake mix in here. I didn't check for myself. I just said, okay, whatever. And I added it to the list and there was already some here. I also noticed things like there were a lot of things that were already in here that I had bought previously, thinking that I was gonna cook that meal or make that whatever. And then when I have been trying to get back on the plan of menu planning, I didn't come and actually go through my pantry and check it because again, it was a hot mess and I just didn't want to deal with it. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I just got what we needed. I found lots of duplicates in here, lots and lots of duplicates, and not in a good way. So initial thoughts here, or imagine that if we keep our spaces orderly and minimal and easy to access, it is amazing how much we don't have to be wasting, be it money or food or time, effort, whatever, to just keep our spaces back to ready, like I always say, versus letting them get out of control before actually tackling them. So whatever, today's a new day. It is what it is. I'm gonna make it right now. I'm gonna get some cleaning stuff, come in here and give this from ceiling to floor a good scrub. Everything now is at least super duper clean. I wiped everything down from the ceiling down to the floor. Yes, Denna Hamlin is still in our pantry. Anyways, I wiped everything down, scrubbed the wood really well, got everything nice and clean, cleaned the doors, and then vacuumed out and mopped the bottom, which was just disgusting. There was like old cereal, chips, like all kinds of stuff down there. So anyways, it is super duper clean now. Everything smells delicious. And we are going to go ahead now and turn this direction and deal with the monstrosity that is all the stuff that came from the mess of the pantry. So let's get on to this now. Okay, so all of this here is honestly just a raging disaster. I mean, things like this, these are just cereal containers. We're not big cereal people. Most of it is just pure sugar. I have a couple that I am okay with. Look at, there's dust in the bottom. That's it. Like, that's all that's here. This is the one you guys don't like, right? I bought them a hot cocoa and I just got the Walmart brand, and I think this is the one you didn't like.
No, that's the one we have now.
Okay.
We threw away the one we didn't like. That was the one.
No, I found this in the bottom. Like.
Oh, is there another container?
Yeah, there's multiples. So we've got that. I found
the Walmart brand is the first one.
Is empty. This literally has like a little dribble of
Wait,
oat
that's enough.
left
I
in
can
it.
make myself humble.
Okay.
Keep it
We have mini things of pancakes.
Wait,
So
we need to take
kind
away
of
the 100 Jack.
Yeah, we got pancakes for days. I did also find, this one is my fault. Birch Benders make the best pancakes in the whole wide world. I used to shop at Target every single week, and we live out in the boonies and we never go. The closest Target to us is like 45 minutes away. I never go there. Well, we were in California last year. I went into Target and I bought myself Birch Bender's pancake mix and brought it home with me. But then this is what's wrong with me, is I don't want to run out of it. So then I hardly ever make it because I know I won't be going to Target. I know, and I know I won't be going to Target anytime soon to get more Birch Bender's pancakes, but these are the absolute best pancakes. So anyways, I found all of these. I found many things like sauces and ketchups that I keep thinking we don't have, or I just don't think about it when I'm doing our grocery order, or they've gotten shoved to the back and nobody knows they're there. So I have like oodles and oodles of the same types. There's a ton of spilt popcorn, empty boxes of stuff, many canned goods that I just keep buying over and over and over again because I don't think we have. Same thing here, and there's, I think, a little bit of stale popcorn left in this one. Eat that. There you go. Lots and lots of ketchup. I've got tons of that. Here's more cocoa mix. What else did I find that was kind of funny? Going through all these things, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Apparently I've been on an A1 kick. Things that I think we're out of, so I keep buying and I don't actually go and look to see if we have. So we have plenty of A1. Oh, I remember that during the fall I needed to make some pumpkin stuff. We do some pumpkin cheesecake stuff and whatever. Anyways, and I kept stocking up on pumpkin and then putting it in the pantry and forgetting that I already had some. So I have enough pumpkin to make anything our hearts could possibly desire. And peanut butter. I also found many, many containers of peanut butter. Most of them only have a tiny bit left of them. Nonetheless, they're left in our pantry. So I have got...
Wait, we have a lot of peanut butter?
Oh yeah, we've got peanut butter. There's another one. Ooh. I just dropped stuff. Anyways, we have lots and lots of peanut butter. So anyways, do you mind picking that up for me, sweetheart? Because I totally dropped it. So now that I see what a mess all of this is, I am going to start sorting through this. So sorting through this, I'm going to start to separate stuff based off of how we would use it. So are these canned goods? Are these sauces, right? The ingredients that I would use in making something. Are they kids things or snacks or whatever? I'm gonna start separating things out to what type of category. Yeah, we'll get snacks for hiking. What kind of category they would fit in for our home. And then as I start to separate things out, things that are brand new, still in package, never opened, not past their expiration date, I can put in a pile. If they're things that we do not eat, we do not need to have, I can put those in a pile. If you look around in your local area, I found a lot of our thrift stores and churches work through this, where you can donate good unopened food to people that could need it. So I know for us, there are some of these things here that we are trying to do a much better job with healthy eating, and we don't need to have these things. They're new, they're unopened, they are well within their expiration date. I can go ahead and donate those. There's also a lot of stuff like empty containers with crumbs and another empty box and pretty much empty. There's some stuff in here that I know is probably past its expiration date, or stuff that has been opened and then just left in here unopened, and so it's stale and gross and nasty. That stuff can go and either get thrown away or fed to our chickens. So separate things into categories as it fits your family. Figure out what stuff is stuff that you're not going to eat, you don't need to have. Can it be donated, or does it need to be disposed of? And then once I have my categories, I got a little bit of organization here, then we can start getting stuff put back into the pantry. So that's our next step. Let's go. You guys, I picked up this basket that was sitting on the floor. This is usually our s'mores basket during the summer. We do bonfires and s'mores a lot. Go, what on earth is in this? You're not gonna believe it. They are the most amazing flavored pretzels. You can only get these at a certain grocery store in California, but Gelson's dill pickle pretzels are the best thing in the whole wide world. So we have some of those left from our trip to Calabasas, and not one, but 2 additional containers of peanut butter. So our peanut butter count is now up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 containers of peanut butter in our house. So anyways, and of course, a lone smush box of mac and cheese. But that's what was in this basket. Menu planning, organization, simplicity, this is why these things are important, because when you're lazy and you don't do them, not only do you spend more money, but you end up in situations like this. Come look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ketchups. This one we just opened this morning, 5 ketchups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jars of pumpkin. 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles of A1 sauce, obviously. 3 hot cocoa mixes, the large ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 still not expired pancake mixes. A couple were expired, so technically there were more than that. We've got a couple oatmeals, not too bad. A few protein shake mixes because I keep buying them and not realizing that we already have some. But the best one out of all of this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 large containers of peanut butter, most of which are not even opened. So this is what happens when you're lazy and you don't keep up on your food inventory and you don't menu plan and you just buy the things that you think your family needs, and then, you know, you can make towers of pumpkin cans. My husband even just added, there's the Pedialyte we always forget about when we get sick. Yep, that's the one. So I've separated this out. I'm going to go through, half of these are opened. I think I could combine these. So anyways, I'm gonna go through and do that. I have a whole pile here on this chair of food that is still good, never opened. We're not gonna eat it, can be donated. So I've got that set up to go with the next thrift store run, so that stuff can get donated. The trash can here is literally packed to the brim of stuff that was past expiration date or was just opened and left open in here this whole time and now is disgusting. And then I have a pile of stuff that our chickens will absolutely love, they'll be super happy about. So I've got things to give to them, but at least now it is all organized and can start to make its way back up here. My husband is now ever so lovingly listing the things that we do not need to purchase anytime soon, like peanut butter, ketchup, pumpkin, beans, A1, jalapeno slices. Yeah, there's a few things that I don't think we're gonna need to buy. The next thing I have here that I will share with you guys that I love so much is whenever I go to Dollar Tree, I try to stock up on baskets. Sometimes they have really good baskets. Sometimes they're not so great, but sometimes they have great baskets. So when they do, I try to go ahead and buy a bunch. Now, if you want to be super fancy about it, you could always take them and spray paint them with the spray paint made for plastic. So that way you can have everything at least looking all the same. I do that sometimes, but that day is not today. So I have a stack of baskets here that had been organizational tools at one point before they just got rolled into whatever they became, like trash holders. So I'm gonna go ahead and give everything a quick wash in the sink. Like this one that I like to do, I oftentimes will take baskets and put the kids' names on them. So that way on their shelf, they can have one that I can put some snacks into. So they kind of has their designated spot to keep their stuff. And once you eat your snacks, you're done type of a thing. So I do that with them quite a bit. I also use baskets for smaller items in the pantry. Instead of them ending up like falling all over and getting, you know, behind bigger things and things like that, I will group the smaller items in a basket so that way they stay together, they're not getting lost, and they're just quick and easy access for me when I'm cooking and needing them. So these are all the baskets we had in there. They're just very gross. So I'm going to wash them all real quick, and then I can separate and we can finally put this pantry back together. Done. I now have a pantry that may not be the fanciest, coolest thing you've ever seen on the internet, but it is clean, it's tidy, it's simple. I know what's in there. I have it organized. So now when I go to meal plan or to be cooking dinner or making something, I know exactly what's in here. I also know that I do not need to be buying peanut butter, ketchup, A1, or hot cocoa anytime in the near future. Also, no pumpkin puree. Those things I'm good to go on. So I went ahead, I got everything in there. I have excess up on the top shelf. I have it pulled close enough to the front that I can see it. I could not open that and miss that. I know what's there and I can now easily access it. I also have my brother's stuff on the top shelf so it's out of the way and the kids aren't getting into his gummy bears any more than they already did while I was cleaning. And his stuff, I just put it in a box so it's easy for him to get to his different things that are up there. And then the Pedialyte that we keep forgetting we have, like when our family had the flu a few weeks ago, I pulled that closer to the front, so maybe next time, maybe I'll remember. Then on the second shelf, I have all of my canned goods and cooking sauces and oils, things of that nature, all pulled together right there, easy to access. I have the A1s combined, so we have 3 bottles and not 4, and at least all put together and right there so I can see not only do we have the A1 that my family loves when we make our London broil, but there's plenty and I don't need to buy any anytime soon. Then the other things that are here on the shelf would be things to go along with dinners that I'm making. So we do have a couple cornbreads that we do periodically, trying to, you know, keep ourselves very ketovore, but we get a little lax sometimes. So I do have some cornbread mix. We have a few pasta sauces. A lot of our sauces I like to make homemade, but then there's those days when you just don't have time for that. And so I like to keep a couple on hand for when we need that. I've got some beef broth. All of the chicken broth I had needed to be replaced. So I'm just gonna have to get new of that. I have plenty of pumpkin puree and some chia seeds that I like to mix in with my smoothies that I make. And so then on our bottom shelf, I have the things that the kids can access most easily. So this copper bowl here has their taco shells, and I usually keep a loaf of bread in there. So if they want to make a little sandwich, they can. That's there in that bowl. The ketchup is right there, easy to access. Olivia, our 5-year-old, keeps ketchup she puts it on everything that she eats. So she's got that she can easily get to. I also left a spot open here so the girls have a place to put their laptops when they are done using them. The pantry might be kind of an awkward place to keep that, but it works well for us. Our dining room table is right here. This is where we do our school and where they sit down, they use them. So it's nice that they have a spot right here. I did put a basket in there so they can keep their chargers nice and neat and together. And then it's always backwards. And then I've got the open peanut butters and oatmeal and pancake stuff that they access on the Norm. So all of that is right there and easy for them to get to. Then on the bottom shelf there, I put this metal rack back in there. It does have our protein mixes. My husband does protein shakes some mornings when I'm not making breakfast. So I have those down there that I can get to. And then I went ahead and put the kids' snack baskets down there on that metal shelf. So they each have a basket with their name just written on it with a Sharpie. It's nothing fancy. They don't even all match. So I have those down there. So next time I do some menu planning, maybe I'll go ahead and order some things that I can group up. It's nice to have some quick snacks that before they're getting on a co-op call or something, they can grab a little something to munch on. And then on the bottom of that there is where we stack our sparkling waters so we can, you know, keep one case in the fridge and then just grab and refill as we need to. So ta-da! Everything looks so much better. It's amazing how much room there is in there now. The boxes that were in there, I got them pulled out. They need to go get taken care of. I decided that the bread maker is just going to go back to the thrift store. I was so excited when I found it, but the truth is I just don't use it enough for it to be worth the space that it's taking up. And if I ever need one, you know, they are a dime a dozen at thrift stores. I will just get a new one. So I have lots of food that was still in good condition that I will take and donate to one of our local shelters so that way it can go and be a blessing to someone else versus just collecting dust in our pantry. And then I've got a few things that we'll go ahead and dump out to the chickens. They are going to get a wonderful little treat today with some of the old tortillas and that little bit of oatmeal and things that I found in there. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope this maybe can be an encouragement to you to get in there, make your pantry something that can be tidy, nice to look at, even if it's not as fancy as some of the ones that we see online. Today, I'm going to share with you guys my whole home reset. So I hope you're ready. Let's go get cleaning. I am getting everything cleaned and ready, specifically today in a whole home reset. We've been a little busy. Things are a little hectic. Our house is a little messed up. The only thing that's clean is my pantry. I don't know about you guys, but I know I find it really motivating to watch other people getting it done too, right? And sometimes it can be so overwhelming when maybe we've gotten off track with our just keeping up with the home and doing all the things that we need to do. And I have videos on my home system up here. You guys can check out that. But sometimes life happens and you get off track. Maybe you've had company over, you've been sick, something crazy has gone on, and you need to get your home back to ready. That's where I'm at today, especially because I want us to be able to have fun with our Love Your Neighbor Day celebrations, and I don't want to have to worry about the stuff. It's really hard for me to just sit down and relax and enjoy the time when I see stuff all over the house that needs to get taken care of. So today, I want to go ahead and take a couple hours and just tackle the main things, do a whole home reset. Now, different people do this differently, and that's totally okay. But the main idea of a whole home reset, kind of like the Fly Lady weekly blessing hour, this one's just a little more in depth than that. I feel like my weekly home blessing hour is when I've been keeping up on my regular things I need to do, where a whole home reset is, I'm gonna have to double that time. I got a little bit more to get done. And so this is how I like to do this, to kind of rescue my home, get it put back in order, so that way we can be prepared for whatever it is that we need to be prepared for. Now, I think one of the key things to note here when doing a whole home reset and what makes this different for different people is, first of all, you need to understand what the biggest game changers are in this home cleaning agenda that you have going on. What are the things for you that those being clean and tidy and in order are going to have the greatest impact, right? And that might change from time to time. Are you really behind on laundry? Like maybe your dishwasher's broken and so you're really behind on dishes. Maybe the floors are a mess. Maybe for you, having clear surfaces is like your big thing that you need to have to kind of feel like you're getting it put back together. It helps to identify those things so that way as we're going through room by room, working in a simple and systematic way, you kind of have those things on the forefront of what you need to be doing to have your home feel back to ready and orderly, tidy enough to feel a little reset. For me, the biggest areas that I want to focus on are these. First and foremost is having all of the clutter, the stuff that is not supposed to be where it currently is, having all of that removed. I want all of that put back to where it belongs. The second thing for me is having clear surfaces. It's finding the horizontal surfaces, be it counters, couches, beds, dressers, whatever it is, having those things tidied up and all of the whatever the heck is accumulated, have it out of there. The third thing that's a big deal for me and I think makes a huge difference is having clean floors. So if the floors are clean, I feel so much better. My house can be pretty clean, and if my floors are disgusting, I'm grossed out and I want those taken care of. Those are the top 3 factors for me that I think make our home feel clean, tidy, put together, ready to embrace whatever it is that our family has going on. So now that I know kind of what my main focus is going to be as I go throughout my home, cleaning and resetting everything, I like to personally work in kind of this simplified, systematic way, so that way I'm not getting distracted. I've totally got ADHD, and my problem is I will create all of this chaos around me. I'll start doing this here, and then I'll deep clean this over here, and I'll kind of be all over the place, working for hours on end, and things are messier by the time I'm done than better, and that's not a situation I want to be in. So I like to kind of set up a simple system for my home so that I can work through all of the spaces and actually accomplish the tasks. Remember, done is better than perfect. We want to get through this, get this reset done. It may not be the most detailed, deep cleaning, tearing everything apart and scrubbing it all down, but it is going to make a huge difference. So what I like to do, you've seen me do this process in our master bedroom here recently, but I like to start in the first room of our house, work around like in a clockwise rotation, and work in each of these spaces with kind of that 3-wave cleaning process. So for me, I usually start in our living room. Our living room is one of those, it's the main space in our house. When you first walk in, we've kind of got our living room, kitchen, dining, all in the main room here when you walk in. For me, our living room is pretty simple to get done, and so I kind of like starting off strong with a simple room to tackle, but when it's done, it makes a big impact, kind of gives you that motivation to keep going. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the living room here. Now, remembering the 3 main areas of focus for me, I'm going to work through that process. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to carry around just an empty laundry basket, bag, some sort of something, and I am going to start clearing the clutter. So that means anything that's out in the living room, I am either going to put it in its proper space, if its proper space is here in the living room, and if it belongs in a different room, I'm just gonna set it in the basket, bag, whatever you're using, I'm gonna set it in there. So that way, as I carry that basket around, when I get to that room, I can put it away then. Handy tip, I have found that if I'm stopping and going from room to room doing stuff, I get distracted, therefore derailing my whole process. So first I'm going to clear the clutter of the space, either put it away or put it in the basket to go to its rightful home. My second step then, I'm going to make sure that all of my horizontal surfaces are cleared, tidied, dusted, wiped down, something simple. So that means the couch, that means the mantle, my desk, the TV stand, any of the horizontal surfaces, I'm going to make sure that they're tidy and then just give them a very simple wipe down. I have like a dusting mitt, I just carry that around with me with some spray that smells really good, so that way I can kind of have that refreshed smelling of like, yay, it smells good, I cleaned in here, but also know that the dust and grime, whatever, is just kind of wiped off. Now again, I'm not like deep cleaning, scrubbing everything down to the bones. I'm just kind of dusting and tidying as I go. And then the third and final step here, once I'm done doing all of that, I'm going to go ahead and clean my floors. Just a quick little side note when it comes to managing your floors, what I do, we have all hardwood floors throughout our house, hardwood and laminate. And so what I do is I have an amazing robotic vacuum. I love this thing so much that runs every single night. It's just scheduled to run every night. night. It does such a great job. We have 7 of us living in this house and more animals than I care to admit. So it makes a huge difference. That runs every single night. And then when I go to clean like this, I have my amazing Timeco vacuum mop that is the best thing in the whole wide world. So even if there is some debris on the floor from today, my vacuum mop gets it all, scrubs the floors. It is such a joy to get to mop my floors. I love it so much. So again, I will link those things down below. They are fantastic, and having that vacuum run each night and then just using my vacuum mop when I need to helps to keep our floors in really good shape, especially considering the bajillions of people that are coming through my house every single day. So, side note. So I did go ahead, I'm going to wash bedding today. For our family, we try to keep things very minimal and simple, which means that everybody only has 1 set of bedding. Yes, you heard me right, 1 set. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some laundry started first so that stuff can get washing and ready to go by later on today. I started the laundry. I've got my empty basket. I'm gonna start with round 1, clearing the clutter, the junk, the trash, the things that aren't supposed to be here. We're gonna tackle that here in the living room. Ready? Let's go. Alrighty, so I've collected all of the stuff. Things that don't need to be in here, I put into the basket. Things that were in here, I either put them where they needed to go or threw the trash away. And I also went ahead and stacked all the pillows and blankets up. It's winter time, we keep that stuff just on the couch at all times. So I set that off to the side so I can go ahead and vacuum the couches real well. I've got my dusting mitt here from a beautiful friend who sent it my way, and a bottle of just kind of generic cleaning stuff. So that way I can go ahead and go around now. All of the horizontal surfaces, I'm going to get those tidied up real quick, only takes a few minutes. Vacuum the couches off, wipe off like the mantle, the TV stand, things like that, and have this space looking so much better. is done, all the clutter is cleared, the surfaces have been wiped down, and the floors have been vacuum mopped. So this room so far is looking pretty good. Now, I did go ahead and open up a window. It is chilly outside and a little rainy, but it's always nice to let some fresh air in. Remember, inside air ends up getting so toxic because most people never spend time with their windows open. So even when it's chilly outside, I like to take 30 minutes or so and just let some fresh air in, as long as we can stand it until I start freezing everybody out. So letting some fresh air in feels so much better. Everything is nice and clean and tidy. I usually spend 15 to 20 minutes per room. Sometimes I go a little over the 2 hours. Sometimes I get done a little before 2 hours, but I would say usually for a home reset, 2 hours is a good happy medium. So This room is done now. I'm gonna go ahead and move on over here into the kitchen. Again, kind of working in this clockwise rotation. Let's do the 3-wave process here in the kitchen. All right, living room is done. I told the kids they can go ahead and play for a few minutes. I'm going to tackle the kitchen again with that same system. Oh, you're so big to do this with now. Mwah. And so I've got my basket here. I'm going to go ahead and first clear the clutter. So anything that is out and needs to just be put away, I'm gonna get it put away. Anything that does not belong in here is gonna go in my basket so that way when I get to its proper place, it can get put away, get everything out of here. And then I can move through my next phase, which is to clear all the horizontal surfaces. So I will wipe down the counters. I'll make sure the sink is empty. I will wipe down the oven, the table. We kind of have everything here in our kitchen and dining room space all together. So I'll make sure all of that gets wiped down, cleaned up, nice and tidy, smelling good, looking good. And then for the final phase, I can go ahead and grab my vacuum mop, run that over the floors in here, and we're gonna be looking so much better. So come with me, let's start. Step number 1, clear this clutter. The girls have an art project drying on the table. I wiped it down a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the floors and then I will finish the table once their art project is dry. So caveat there, we're gonna skip on over to the floors. Kitchen is done. Clutter has been cleared. All of the horizontal surfaces and even most of the vertical ones got wiped down and cleaned, scrubbed the sink out, and then ran my vacuum mop over the floors. The only thing that's left is I will finish wiping down the table once their painting projects finish drying. Now, you may have noticed that I did not deep clean, sort through every little thing. Up here above our oven, we have 2 baskets that are supposed to help contain our things, and somehow they always end up everywhere. So much junk ends up shoved up there. Now, I grabbed a few things, including finding my brother's ATM card, his debit card that we haven't been able to find for like a month. So I did find that, but I did not deep clean it. I didn't dump everything out. I didn't go through that. I didn't do that now. We don't want to get distracted and start digging into every little nook and cranny, every cupboard and drawer. It's just that basic across the board. I've got 2 hours to reset my home and I don't have time to be doing all of that right now. that will come at a different time, and you know there will be a video on it. So all of the house reset cleaning has been done. Living room is complete. Kitchen is complete. I'm gonna continue working in this clockwise rotation and move on next to our hall bathroom. It is the bathroom the kids use, my brother uses, and I will probably clean kind of like the hallway in along with it. That is our next room. Let's go. Alrighty, you guys, so the bathrooms are up next. Again, I like to kind of just move in like a clockwise rotation around my house to help keep me from getting distracted and bouncing all over the place. So we have the guest bathroom and the hallway, and then we have our master bathroom here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do both of these bathrooms real quick. Again, this is just a process of resetting our home. And so I'm not gonna be doing like nitty gritty, going through every little thing. The process for me is basically like what I've done in the living room, the kitchen, and dining room, just a little bit easier because it's only the bathroom. So I will go ahead and pop into each and gather if there are any random stray things. I noticed a book on the kids' bathroom counter. The hand towel needs to be switched out. So there were a couple little things that I can pull out of there. Also in the bathrooms, I make sure to empty the trash when I do a reset, just to make sure that there's nothing in there, get that taken care of. And then I go through the same process where I go ahead and use some of this Dawn Power Wash, spray everything down, wipe everything down really well as far as the counters and sinks, the faucets. I usually use Barkeeper's Friend in our bathrooms. I love Barkeeper's Friend. It's one of the most amazing cleaning resources in the whole wide world. There is a liquid one that you can spray. That's what I usually do for our showers because we have hard water and the buildup is atrocious. Nothing touches it. I am out of that today and I didn't notice that. So I will not scrub the showers today just because I just realized we don't have the stuff I need. When I go to the store this week, I will pick that up and just spray some in the showers because it's time for that to be done. So I'll kind of wipe some stuff down, but I'm not going to deep clean that. I'll give the toilet a good scrub so that way that is nice and clean, and then go ahead again and grab my vacuum mop and mop everything. So not gonna go through all the stuff, not gonna go through all the baskets. If I see anything that's out of place, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it, but otherwise I'm not gonna spend too much time putting that together. I also noticed that our shower curtain really does need to be washed, so I'll probably go ahead and take that off and just throw it in with the last of my bedding since I'm already doing laundry. So, all of that being said, let's get cleaning these bathrooms. Bathrooms are clean. I got myself a, oops, you can't see it, fresh water. Whew, this is the workout, right? Giving your home a reset is totally a workout. Miss Cleo is in here. I know, sweetheart. So everything is done now. I only have 2 spots left here in my 2-hour total home refresh. I've gotten stopped a few times in between, but otherwise total cleaning time, I think I'm pretty much right on track. Like I said, I've got about 6 spaces that I'm cleaning, and I spend anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes on each one. So like in our bathrooms, there's a lot of decluttering that needs to go on in there. There's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. It was not the most thorough deep dive of all the things, but that's not the point of the whole home reset. Right here, we're just trying to get these things back in order, back to at least a level playing field. So I'm gonna move on to my bedroom. So for my bedroom, the things that I need to get done are bedding is all getting ready to come out of the dryer, so I'll get that made in just a little bit. There's a little bit of laundry, a couple things that were in the bathroom I pulled out because they don't belong in there. I'm gonna get those put away. There were a couple things in my basket that I collected in other areas of the house that are gonna get put in here. I've got a little bit of laundry to put away, as well as the stuff my husband had. And then our surfaces, we've got a little bit of clutter kind of sitting out on here and some random things that have made their way onto our dresser. So just like all the other rooms, first I'm gonna go through and kind of collect all the stuff and put it back to where it goes. Bedding I'll do as soon as that is done. And then once I have gotten stuff put away, I've cleared the clutter, I'll do the same thing with cleaning the surfaces. I've got the same dusting spray and my little dusting mitt. I will go ahead and just wipe down our flat surfaces to make sure everything is just clean and tidy and kind of leaves that good smell, which is always nice. I don't like to have a bunch of toxic stuff in our house, but it is nice to have a little scented something when you're cleaning. That's why I love like Mrs. Meyer's. I love the Safely brand. So that way you still get like that feeling of I've been in here cleaning, but without inhaling all of the nonsense. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'm just gonna vacuum mop the floors. So again, like I'm not going super nitty gritty. I'm not taking down all the window dressings. I'm not, going through the drawers or cleaning out the closets or anything like that in this whole home reset. I am just quickly getting everything back to a state of ready. So let's go ahead. Step one, let's clear all this clutter out of here. Final stretch. Oh my goodness. Do you ever feel like if you oh, you seriously found me again? Miss Cleo. Seriously. Hold please. Okay, so clearly I'm not gonna be able to do this without a bunch of interruption, but that's okay. So I was going to say, do any of you also feel like when you're going that if you stop, you're not gonna be able to finish? I feel that way right now, but this is my last room. I've worked myself clockwise around the house. I'm in the last spot now, our daughter's room. I'm not doing our son's room. That is his domain. We have an agreement. He does that. I will not be filming or doing his room. The only other room that I'm not doing is our laundry room. And honestly, that's like a once a month. I just give that like a once over. It's kind of an odd space. I really can't even film in there because it's really oddly laid out with the way our stairs come down and stuff. So anyways, this is our whole house space. For those of you who've been watching for quite a while, you know we had a family room space. Since my brother moved in with us, he has turned that into his bedroom. So I also will be leaving that alone and not encroaching in his space as well. So Miss Cleo, you're now using my camera stand. Yes, thank you. I know you're so sweet. Hold please. That cat is legit the sweetest thing on earth, but she's so sweet that I had to kick her out of the room. So I've made it to the girls' room. All three of our girls share a bedroom, and I will 100% say that like 98% of the mess is due to the 5-year-old Olivia. She has been basically single-handedly destroying the house on a daily basis. So we're working with her. If anybody has any fail-safe ideas to get 5-year-olds to clean up after themselves, please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear. But case in point, we moved their dresser into their room because where we were keeping it, we didn't have space when my mom gave us her old couch. So we had to move their dresser back into their room. They've not had a dresser in their room in like 6 years or so, because when it's in their room, they either go through a bunch of stuff or I'd find stuff all over the place, whatever, it wasn't being taken care of. Look at this. So we moved it in here, and since Olivia is 5, we said, okay, it's time for you now. The top 2 drawers are hers. I said she could organize them however she wants. Fold them, don't fold them, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You're in charge of putting your clothes away. I come in here and I find this, a tower of clothing. So this tells me 2 things. 1, this is why I hate having dressers in their room. Our kids also don't use their closet as a closet. We've turned it into like a little office space for co-op. So yeah, I hate them having their clothes in their room because it becomes a disaster. Number 2, Olivia's wardrobe will be getting a massive overhaul here in the near future because clearly she has too much stuff if she can't keep up with it. We need to minimize that down and scale back on her clothing. So most of the mess in here is going to be tackling Olivia's clothes, at least getting them put in drawers so they're not just towering up here. And then the next thing is over here. Yep, it would be Olivia's toys. She got a bunch of Barbies, and we usually keep their toys very, very simple and minimal. She's really into Barbies and playhouses, so we went ahead and drug an old like cube storage thing in here and set it up that she could have somewhere to keep her Barbies and her dollhouse stuff. And she kind of does okay with putting this stuff back in the basket where it's supposed to be, but the moment any of us kind of let up on her and we're not paying attention, it starts to look like it currently looks right here. And especially the past couple of days, we've been really busy, we've been gone, we've been doing things, and it's just become a disaster. So I'm gonna do the same thing in here like I've done in the other rooms with working through in a just quick and simple way, give myself the next 20 minutes to finish up this whole home reset. I've said it once, I've said it a million times so far in this video that's probably very, very long. So thank you for hanging out with me. And hopefully, again, we're either cleaning together, it's encouraging you to go tackle yours. We've got this, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. Step 1, we're going to clear the clutter. That means everything that's out of place needs to go back into its place. And anything that's in here that doesn't belong in here is going to go in the basket and get out of here. So that means the clothes are going to get put in the drawer. The toys are going to get put back the way they're supposed to. I'm going to tidy up their beds and make sure I saw when I walked in, there's like toys in there and pajamas and all kinds of stuff. So we're going to tackle that clutter, get it out of here. Then the second point, we're going to clean all of the horizontal surfaces, especially in the girls' room. The cats come in here. We added a cat window to their window so the cats could come in and out. Our dash hounds sleep in here at night. Their kennel is in here, so they're in here. There's a lot of animal hair that gets picked up. We do have an air filter at the end of the hallway, which really does help. Our one daughter has a lot of allergies, so that has been a huge help in keeping her allergies under control, but still, pet dander and hair just kind of builds up. So I like to make sure that I come in here and just wipe down all the horizontal surfaces, be it on where the toys are, on the dresser, kind of tidy up the beds and clean the mattresses, get all of their bedding washed and refreshed so that way they can have a nice clean space. And then I'm gonna finish it up again by pulling out my handy dandy vacuum mop. You guys, it is the coolest thing in the whole wide world. I love it. I'm gonna grab my handy dandy vacuum mop and clean their floors. And then their room will also be maybe not completely detailed down to the nitty gritty, but it will be reset and back to ready so we can really get into our week and have everything in a level spot. Alrighty friends, that is a wrap. I've got everything cleaned up. My whole home has been reset. Again, it only took about 2 hours in total to get it all done, starting with a just simple system to work myself from one part all the way back around to the end. Starting from one room, working in a clockwise rotation through the house, tackling those 3 top priorities and getting every space back to a decent level of acceptable living. Now again, friends, remember, I know it can be overwhelming. I think of times, especially when you've been sick, maybe you have a new baby, life is just busy, you've got a lot going on. And it seems like everything with the home can start to add up and become so overwhelming. But remember, done is better than perfect. Now, you could walk around with a white glove and find all kinds of grime still in my house. But if you look at it in just the general sense, it's much tidier. It's put together. Yes, there's deep cleaning, there's minimizing, there's organizing, there's all those things, and we'll talk more about that this week, but everything has been reset. It feels so much better. I can now go enjoy the rest of my day with my family and have the rest of this week in a home that feels so much better and can be much more just peaceful and restoring to my family as we nurture them here in our home. Come with me today as we reset our home after having a house full of company. This time of Sabbath rest and celebration here, it's been absolutely wonderful. But now, I kind of need to get our life back together. My husband had surgery. We're still trying to put it back together. We had the wonderful time of celebration with friends and loved ones. But now I need to reset our house. I need to kind of put this back together. And I just wanted to share before we get into the cleaning and the actual reset, I love hosting people in our home. I love being able to open our home up, being able to have people in. I love that. And I don't do a lot of prep. I feel like I kind of keep our house about the same level across the board. So it's not too bad as far as preparing for people to come over. And I'm what you see is what you get. I'm not putting on a fancy show for anyone. But while people are here, I want to have fun. Like I want to be present. I want to be enjoying. We clean and do some normal stuff as we go, kind of that survival mode. Like don't get, I still run some laundry and run some dishes and have my vacuum go every night, but I want to be present with my company. And so that means between all the kids and all the people, the house gets trashed. It just does. There's no way around it. And that's fine because it means we have a home that was here, a space that people enjoyed and had a great time in. And so I thought, why not take today to kind of, romanticize the process of tidying our home, right? Taking pleasure in the mundane and the little things that it's your attitude toward it. I can look at having to get my home back in order and be like, oh, all these people, all the kids, everything's a mess. I could be cranky about it. Or I can say, this looks like people had fun. This looks like kids had a great time and they ran and they played and we cooked and meals were shared and laughs were had. That's what I can look at this. And I can say, you know what? My home is a mess. My schedule has been thrown off. I haven't done my normal cleaning because I was present with people I loved, enjoying fellowship and time together. And so let's set some nice music. Let's romanticize the process and let's take pleasure in the simplicity of the mundane. To give the Lord praise for the blessing that is having a space and having loved ones to come together in fellowship. So let's reset the house. Let's get it back to ready to serve my family in our day-to-day, simple, boring, beautiful life. Let's get started.
We're gonna make some special muffins today. Some special muffins. Wait, is it the same one though? Oh, it's from Rhoda and Peter.
not perfect by any means, but reset, back to ready to be a space that can nourish and care for my family. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was a little encouraging for you. All right, friends, welcome to our day. We have so much to get tackled and taken care of today because tomorrow's Virginia's birthday and we have all kinds of fun stuff coming out for that. I am so super excited. We've had company over, company coming, things to get done. My husband's surgery that wasn't supposed to be until the end of next month, they bumped up to this week. So there's a lot of things that need to happen and need to happen quickly. My house also looks like this. So today is going to be get everything clean, get everything done, because this week is going to kind of be bananas. So hello, happy Monday. That's where we're at today. So super exciting. My uncle, who I have not seen in a little over 5 years, got to come visit. It's my great uncle, and him and his wife, they were like second parents to me, and they're just so special. Our son, he's named after him. All of our kids have a middle name after someone very special to us, and so he was named after him. And him and my aunt were planning a visit to come down here because they hadn't gotten to meet Olivia yet when my aunt suddenly and tragically passed away, and it was just really difficult, a really hard time. And then he ended up having to move and, with his children, and it was kind of just really super crazy. We haven't seen them in so long, and he called me up the other day and he was like, hey, I'm going to be in North Carolina. What if I come visit you guys? And I was just so excited. It's so special. And so he surprised us and even came up a little earlier, and then he's coming back and just, getting to celebrate Gigi's birthday and him getting to see the kids all grown up. It was just, oh my gosh, such a special time and just very overwhelming and wonderful. Just the best. And he's living down in the Gulf Coast, and I'm like, okay, how do we get down there to visit you? Like, I just miss you so much, and it was so wonderful. So that was fantastic, but crazy, chaos, fun. And then we have Gigi's birthday. We're all getting over being sick. We ended up sick at the end of last week, or all through last week, really. And so it took us, till about the end of it to start feeling better. And so all the things. I just want to make sure that everything is kind of prepped and ready here. I don't know, there's just a lot going on. But before I can do any of it, I need to tackle and get myself prepped and ready for birthday fun, for surgery, for company, for recovery, for all of that. That's what we're doing today. Today we're cleaning, and FedEx is pulling up in my driveway. So I'm gonna go get that and then we'll get cleaning. Ready? Let's go. All right, got what we got. Anyways, you want a tour? You want to see what we're working with? This is where we're at today. All right, remnants of being sick. We've got cough drops everywhere. This is a hot mess. Dishes, we haven't gotten to breakfast dishes yet. Stuff for my poor husband. He's having to drink gallons of water a day to try to survive. My brother got some fly stuff the other day. That's all out everywhere. More stuff from everybody being sick. Anyways, kind of just general disarray of things. I think this is the only space that isn't super messy. This is homeschool stuff that needs to get organized, but right now it kind of is just all crammed onto the shelf. This is super exciting. This is what we just got. We got a pool for especially the younger girls until we can get our big pool set up. So we've got that for then. Laundry that's left. I think there's a mess in there. Laundry that needs to be done. Bathrooms that need to be clean. Kind of just general chaos everywhere. So when I have to power clean through the house like this, what I like to do is pick one room, start there, work in a clockwise rotation, and then work my way around the house so I don't get distracted and get all over the place. So I'm gonna start with the living room because I think that's the easiest. I'll make sure everything's tidy in there. It should only take me a couple minutes. Then we'll get into here, tackle the counters. I hate when my spaces are covered in stuff. So that kind of three-wave system of go to each space, all the stuff that doesn't belong there, get it out of there. All of my flat surfaces, get them cleaned up, and then I'm gonna come through and clean the floors because I haven't done that in a little over a week and they're pretty nasty. So I'm gonna start with one room, work my way around, get through this, hit that, those hot spots, the big areas that getting those clean are gonna make a big impact. I'm not gonna be deep cleaning every detail. That's why I have the spring refresh system that we're doing. Right now, I just need to get the messes picked up and then the big impactful areas clean, like counters and floors. So room one, let's do it. So I don't know how exactly it happens, and maybe you have a spot like this in your house, but we have this shelf over the oven that I guess would be like for a microwave, but we don't use a microwave. And so that was kind of our like, get it up away from our small kids, we'll get to it, but at least it's safe up there spot. And so years back, I like painted it, I put up a peel and stick backsplash, I put up a shelf, I tried to make it look pretty and got us baskets. Like, oh, maybe we'll keep our stuff organized if we have a basket. No matter what I do, that spot is like the biggest hot spot in our house. Stuff collects up there, and then clutter breeds clutter. So it's like once it's up there, anything that I can't get to, I don't have time for, my husband's dropping spot, the kids get up there and go through stuff, the whole shebang, that's the spot. And honestly, I have not pulled everything out and cleaned it in longer than I care to admit, mainly because I really can't remember that's how long it's been. And so there is so much stuff that just keeps getting crammed up there, kids rummage through it. And I was thinking about the other day and I was like, you know what? I can think of maybe 3 items that I regularly go to up here and get and use. This needs to be taken care of. I need to go through this stuff. I need to scale this stuff down and tidy up that shelf. So I'm gonna pause. This is gonna be the only thing in the kitchen that I really deep clean right here because it's ridiculous. And I feel like if we stack it up any higher, stuff's just gonna start falling out the front. So I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna pull a trash can over here, dump anything that I don't need, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clean that space really well. I'm just gonna take my little handheld vacuum, get all the debris that's up there, wipe it down, and then hopefully what gets put back is the stuff that we actually seriously need and use up there. There's a lot of stuff here that needs to be tackled. Here we go. Much better. Oh my goodness, took a little extra time, but now it's done. Speed clean the rest of it. Lily B and I are running out to the store real quick. I've got the main areas of the house clean. Again, just going through each room, kind of working myself around in a cycle so I can make sure that I've gotten all the stuff that doesn't belong there out of there. I've cleaned up, ooh, what's this? I don't know what this is. Oh, I do know what it is. Never mind. It's a birthday surprise for a certain somebody. Yes, it's awesome. It came today. Pick up all the stuff that doesn't belong there, put it all away, get it out of there, wipe off, clean up whatever surfaces need to be cleaned, counters, tables, whatever. I left out Lily's doing some art stuff for her sister, so that's out on the table. And then clean the floors. So anyways, that part's done. I've just got to kind of tidy up the bathroom. Everybody's in charge of their own bedrooms. So that is done. I think last birthday stuff coming in, getting that together. We are ready for birthday day festivities. All right, friends, I told you yesterday I was going to tackle my living room, kitchen, dining space because we've been sick and my house is a mess and I've got to try to get my life back together. I didn't get this room finished. Totally didn't happen. Shared what I shared yesterday. Never made it back here today. Everything is still a mess. We've got to tackle this before the day is up. I have to get it done. So, kitchen, dining room, it's getting clean today. Let's do it. Life goes by so quickly and we have eternity that we're storing up our treasure for, and we get to soak in such great blessings that the Lord gives us. And that's really hard to do. You've been really sick and your house is really trashed and you need to pull it all together. So I'm gonna tackle that today and finish up at least getting us back to like a level playing field so that we can move on with our lives. And so that was kind of step one for us here. We've been out sick, struggling, trying to get it back together. I'm still not totally there yet, but I wanted to at least give it a shot, try to put our house back into order. Now, the kitchen is a mess. It's kind of just been ground zero in here as we're getting through being sick and trying to piece it back together a little bit, and it's chaos. So you guys know that. You're sick, you're recovering, you're dealing with stuff. We've tried to make sure that like some core basics happen, like running the dishwasher each evening, running a load of laundry each day, and my vacuum running at night. So at least those things have been a huge help. But I cleaned the living room yesterday. Lily also tackled the girls' bedroom. We washed all of their bedding and all of the random just clothes and stuff we found in there. And I went ahead and ran my vacuum mop over their floors. So that at least did get done. But today in here, I need to tackle a few things. Loud motorcycle going down the road. I need to get these countertops cleared because when there's clutter on your counters, number one, it looks awful. Number two, it breeds more clutter. Once you have stuff laying out, then everybody just adds to it and they add to it and they add to it, and before you know it, it's just like my kitchen is right now. So you need to tackle that. And then we're on our quest to live a more lovely life. And I went ahead and I went to the thrift store and I picked up a few vintage serving dishes and dessert cups for our tea party that we started our week off with. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know Maya?
So we've picked up some of these dishes that don't have a home, right? Like they're new, we just brought them in. We have a pretty minimal kitchen, but there's one thing to have things that you appreciate and enjoy and use, even if you have a minimal kitchen. But if they're new things that have just come in, I have to find them a home and a place that can be their place, right? A place for everything and everything in its place. So I need to do that because basically what we've been doing is just setting it off to the side, and it's a miracle it hasn't gotten broken, to be honest. So I need to get this stuff put away. I need to find homes for this stuff that we've brought in and kind of just get some general like tidying, getting things back to how they should be, getting all the junk and random things that are in here that shouldn't be out of here and back to where they should go. And then I really want to clean my floors because I have not cleaned these floors in a few weeks and they're disgusting and they need to be mopped with my amazing vacuum mop. So that's what we're going to tackle today. Every day I'm trying to get a little bit done and a little bit done and a little bit done, and I'm bound to start building back up my energy. I think that's what I'm going for. So let's tackle that today, and then I can enjoy the weekend, have a little bit of rest time and family time, and be refreshed and ready for next week. So let's get to it. Let's tackle this kitchen. so at least now my kitchen is put together, counters are cleared, things are wiped down because it was grimy and disgusting, and you could tell it's been neglected for the past few weeks because I've been a horrible homemaker and haven't done literally anything. So it's clean now, it's tidy, it's not perfect. I didn't go through everything. My pantries are still kind of messy, like it's not perfect. I took the curtain off under the sink here so I could wash that, but I didn't empty out the basket of cleaners and tidy all of that. Like, not all of that happened, but it works. I feel better, and we can go into our weekend enjoying, relaxing, and at least having a space that has been put back to ready, at least most of it. So my vacuum is running right now. When that's done, I'll go ahead and mop just in here. Luckily, I got all of the mopping in there done yesterday, so I'm just gonna tackle this space here. My vacuum mop makes it so easy to keep up on my floors, and honestly, I really just enjoy mopping. My entire family makes fun of me because I could mop twice a day, every day. I love using it. I drive everybody crazy with how much I mop. So one time, one and done. That's all I'm going to do today. Hopefully this can be an encouragement for you. Maybe we have some spaces in our home that need a little attention, need a little tidying, need a little putting back to ready. This is your time. Go and get yours done. Mine is done. I'm gonna make a sandwich, go sit outside. It's beautiful out today, and enjoy some time with my family. We're starting to finally feel better a little bit. Still dealing with some lingering after effects, and one of them being a complete lack of energy. I have been worthless for a good 3 weeks now, and the 3 weeks prior to that were completely wrapped up with doctor's appointments, my husband's surgery, and all kinds of crazy stuff that we had going on. There's so much that needs my attention that I'm so behind on from literally being sick and doing COVID for the past month that I'm very behind. I was kind of already behind when we went into the past couple months, and now I'm a couple months more behind than I was. So that's where we're at. That's okay. We're dealing with it. But it means today is kind of cold and rainy, and the stuff that needs to be done outdoors is clearly not going to be happening. I need to focus a little bit of attention inside. I'm trying to get doing a little bit so I can start building back up my energy, but still noticing when it's like, okay, enough's enough, I need to go take a nap. So today we're sitting here looking at it, and guys, I have not cleaned my house at all in 3 weeks. I think we actually cleared off the counters the other day. I did clean our bathrooms a little bit because I was so grossed out at one point, but my house has been largely ignored for 3 weeks. I have, while we've been sick, I have let my robotic vacuum run each night. That's just scheduled, it does it itself. That runs. So at least we have that going for us. And I have tried to still do a load of laundry a day-ish. It hasn't been every day, but we have tried to do laundry. That doesn't mean the laundry's gotten put away. It just means that at least somewhere in the house there's a clean pile of laundry that we have something we can put on. Also, my daughter has been a rock star and kept up on running the dishwasher every evening. So minus those few things, nothing in our house has been taken care of in a month. I mean, it really hasn't. So that's where we're at. And then I pulled out my little whiteboard of like, okay, what are the tasks that if they don't get done today, I'm gonna scream because it's just awful. And I'm such a bad homemaker right now, and we've got to tackle this stuff. So that's what I want to try to at least like pull together. I'm trying to drink some coffee. I probably should eat something, but guys, I lost my appetite and my like taste 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, and it hasn't come back at all. So I'm really struggling to like force myself to eat stuff. But I need to try to tackle some of this. So I figured today, the girls' room is disgusting. I mean, there's just toys and laundry and bedding. I mean, just stuff kind of everywhere. Our house is kind of just general disarray. But I feel like before I can even get into the fun stuff of like simplifying our home and taking care of these things that I'm really excited for, I feel like I need to get kind of like a general tidying done before we can dig into the fun stuff. Because right now my house is crazy. It's just, I mean, everywhere I look, there's just weeks of we've been sick, nothing's been addressed everywhere. So I feel like today, if we get kind of a general tidying done, I'm not talking deep cleaning. I'm not talking deep decluttering. I'm just talking like some semblance of level. That's what we're going for today. If I can make that happen today, I think going into next week, Lord willing, this energy starts building back up. Maybe we can tackle some fun stuff around here. That's my goal. So I've got Lily is in their bedroom. The girls share a bedroom. So she's in there deep cleaning. She's like kicked everybody out. She's stripping all the beds, gathering all the random laundry, even stuff that was clean and just got shoved on top of a dresser versus being put into a dresser. And now it's like fallen on the floor and I'm like, just throw it all in here. I am going to run the washer all day long today. We are going to do so much laundry today, but that's a good thing. It means it's getting done. So she's getting their room cleared out. We're gonna gather all the blankets. We have so many blankets on the couches from just being sick. My husband and I are still sleeping on the couch most nights. He had kidney surgery, and laying flat in the bed still is really painful for him. So we go do a couple nights in on the bed so that way my back feels better. And then we come out here and we're sleeping on the couches. So we've got blankets all over the couches that just need to be washed. They're getting all of their bedding stripped. I just did ours, so ours is okay. I'm gonna get all of that stuff washed. Then I want to go from room to room and do the very minimal 3-wave pass that I usually try to do in each room. At least for our living room, our kitchen dining room space, and bathrooms, bedrooms-ish. I wanna try to tackle that today. And I know this is probably a bad idea because it's rainy outside. I have not mopped our floors in weeks, and I love mopping our floors. I have a dog choking over here. You okay, Lois? Too much water? Okay. I have an amazing vacuum mop that I love so much, and it's honestly just a clean floor. To me, makes a huge impact. So even if it means muddy paws, because we have 8 million animals, are gonna come running through it right after, I don't even care. To take some time and just mop the floors, to me, makes me say our house is clean. And so what are those things, right, that really impact you and make you feel, I've done it, I've tidied it? Clear counters and clean floors. To me, like if those two things are done, I feel better. Maybe you've been like me and you've been sick and struggling and totally behind. So today we're gonna do it. We're gonna feel like we accomplished something, and then we'll be ready for a really awesome nap this afternoon, okay? We can do it. Okay, so we might have realized in the midst of trying to clean up that somebody dropped the ball and never put in a grocery order yesterday like I was supposed to. And so that means we don't have food and we don't have the things that we need. You guys, I'm telling you, this like not having an appetite is so awful because everybody else in the house is like feeling better and would like to, you know, have food throughout the day. And then there's me who wants nothing. And our trash people left us mail out in the rain. Seriously? So our trash people leave us our bill each month, like just in an envelope that they usually set like in our mailbox, but they left it outside. And so this is my, I guess I gotta dry that so I can pay it. Anyways, we're getting stuff done. The living room is done. Lily did amazing and got their room super clean. We're washing all of the bedding right now, all of the blankets, and then today's load of laundry. So we're just still like, every time a load finishes, my son puts the wet stuff into the dryer, brings the dry stuff up, my daughter separates, Virginia separates everything, and then everybody's got their laundry. So at least we're getting like the laundry done. And it's raining even harder. Laundry's getting done. Living room is clean. I like even dusted a bit. The floors were so gross. This is what happens. My husband came in. I was like, honey, guess what happens when you don't mop for a good 3 weeks? And he was like, what? And I was like, your floors are really disgusting. We moved the couches. Guy got underneath those. I love my vacuum mop because at least it like does it all in one. I don't have to like sweep and then mop. I can just like knock it all out. So I'm going to run to the grocery store, get some groceries so that people can consume food, because apparently that's the thing some of us want to do. And then the kids are gonna help me. We already talked about it before I walked out the door. They're gonna help me. We're gonna get the counters cleared, stuff put away. Crazy, I know. And then I can at least like wipe down the counters and run the mop in the kitchen. So at least that'll be done. So did I deep clean? No. Did I get every room? No. Don't think bathrooms are gonna happen. Don't think anything else is gonna happen today. I think this is gonna be it. I'm gonna do this and I'm kind of toast. Like I'm exhausted myself, which I feel is pathetic, but hey, it's where I'm at. I did not even clean like my desk. There's all kinds of stuff over there that's just stuff that's been piling up that I need to get dealt with at some point in time. That point in time just isn't gonna be today. It's not. So that's all kind of just sitting there. There's little nooks and crannies and places where there's stuff, and it's just gonna have to sit for a minute. I cannot see anything. So that's just gonna have to be what that is, but we got stuff at least put away, tidied up a little bit. At least we're like not completely drowning is the goal. That's what we're going for here. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today for this like less than stellar home kind of reset, a room and a half, maybe 2. That's about all we're gonna get to today. So it is what it is, right? We'll get there. There's always tomorrow. I'm ready to go home, let the hubby make some food for the kids and him, and then we can all just kind of cozy up, curl up, enjoy the rain, and take a nap. Because I think I need it today. Hey friends, I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Home, and my house is a mess, okay? Up front, being honest, it is a mess. We've had a lot going on, lots of things happening. We're trying to get ready because we're starting back to school in next week, and I have a lot to try to get done. So come hang out with me today. We are going to tackle a whole home reset. Yep, the whole house reset, tidied up, back to a level playing field today. I like doing so in a very raw and upfront way. So if you are looking for perfectly curated, Instagram worthy home, turn away. This is not your channel, because what you're going to see is our home that we love so much and we're so thankful to the Lord for, but it's a little old and it's not super perfect. And right now it is a mess. It is an absolute mess. And that can become overwhelming. I know for me, ADHD, it's difficult. It's difficult to do all of the things. I want to be serving my family well. I want to be setting my husband up for success, my children up for success. And when there is clutter and mess and just kind of chaos everywhere, chaos breeds chaos, and that's not good for anyone. We're also getting ready to start our new homeschool year, which for any of you looking for stuff like that, be sure to be back next week because we have loads of homeschool content we're going to be sharing with you all. But this week we're focusing on the homemaking part. And before I get into starting back to school and doing any of the stuff, I need to get my home in order because the summer's been busy. We've had a lot going on. We've had a lot of time outside working with our flowers we're growing, raising chickens and turkeys and our new Great Pyrenees, and just out enjoying and swimming and bonfires and all of that wonderful stuff, which is great. I'm thankful for it. But it means that inside has been kind of neglected. And before we move on and we get anything else done, I need to do a whole home reset. What is a whole home reset? It is where you literally push reset for your house. It is so nice to be able to go through and kind of get the whole space back to ready. Back to ready means before we move on and we do anything else, we've at least come back to that level playing field. And so this isn't going to be super deep cleaning every single room. This isn't going to be, super decluttering. We're not going to get into the deep nitty gritty. We are going to work through our homes in a systematic way to check the boxes and give us that overall tidying so that we can be back to that place where we can take a deep breath and be like, okay, I have clear surfaces again, things aren't everywhere, there's a general level of cleanliness, we can move on with life. Now, there's a very simple process that I enact to get us to this place. I'm going to tackle my entire house today. So I have this afternoon to try to get the whole thing done. Can it be done? I think it can, and this is how we're gonna do it. If you've been around the internet for a while, you've probably heard of the 3-wave cleaning process, and this is how I do that. Whenever I need to do a whole home reset, I need to tackle kind of some of everything because stuff's wonky and my house is a mess and it's just not looking good. Okay, I'll just be honest with you. I have been slacking big time because we've been focusing on other things outside of the home. I like to work room by room. I kind of pick one spot, usually our living room, and I just work like in a clockwise rotation to get to all the spots that I need to. I do that to hold myself accountable because I will start here and then I'll go here and then I'll do some over here and then I'll jump back over here, and the next thing I know, I've just kind of created chaos for myself, which is what I'm supposed to be trying to avoid. So I start with one room and I go around in 3-wave cycles. The first one is to gather all the things that aren't where they should be. I walk around with a laundry basket or just some sort of container, and things that don't belong in that room get thrown into it. I don't go to the other room and put them back yet because I don't want to get distracted and be jumping all over my house. If it doesn't belong in this room, it goes in the basket. I can bring a trash can along with me. If it needs to go in the trash, it goes to the trash. Wherever the things that don't belong there, right? They need to get taken out and put into a basket. If it's trash, it needs to get thrown away. If it's just general like blankets and pillows that are laying around, they just get fixed, okay? So you go around and all of the stuff that's just out and about, isn't where it's supposed to be, whatever it is, you tackle that in the first wave. The second wave is the actual cleaning. That's where I will start from the top and work my way down. If I'm walking around with a duster, if I'm wiping down windows, if it smudges on the wall, whatever it is that needs to be cleaned in that space, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that in step 2. And then the third and final step would be the floors. So now that I've picked up and gathered all the things that shouldn't be there, I've wiped down all of the other surfaces and spots that needed it. Now stage 3, as I clean the floors and I walk out of the room. So for me, I love using my vacuum mop. It is the best thing in the whole wide world because it's one simple step and I get everything done. But whether you're, just mopping or you're vacuuming, whatever it is that you're doing, you're sweeping your floors, we take care of the floors last, and then we are left with the space that has been tidied up. Stuff is put away, things have been wiped down, the floors are clean. we can move on. We go to the next room, we start the same process. And then as we get to the additional rooms, we collect that basket of things that belong in other rooms and we can put those things away when we get to them. So those are the 3 waves that I work through here in doing my whole home reset. Let's go ahead, get into my living room and get started. Quick mom tip here before I get started. I did ask the kiddos to go around the house, and if there are things of theirs that they want to know are safe, they might want to pick them up real quick because mom might deem them to be not things that need to be saved. So maybe they want to make sure that they grab them and they have them. So kiddos are doing that. I'm going to make myself a nice coffee real quick so I have a little treat to keep me hydrated while I work. And the kids are going to go outside and swim in the pool. So that kind of gives me a little bit of time of they've gathered their most cherished items that are sprinkled around the house and put them where they need to be. I'm going to give me a little encouragement here through some iced coffee and lovely music, and then I can go ahead and get started. So part of the process, if you want to get everybody a little involved and you want to kind of set up, hey, why don't you guys go play, or why don't we do this, and then I have a little bit of time to focus on going through room by room, that's something that usually helps a little bit. hours, but the house is at least back to ready. There is this whole home reset that has taken place. Yes, it took a few hours this afternoon, but I can feel so much better now as we go into a busy week full of appointments, getting ready for back to school and all of the amazing things that we have going on ministry-wise, which I'm so thankful for. But it's nice to get these things checked off here. So you may have noticed that I did not deep clean everything. There are plenty of areas that still need my attention. My desk has so much being built up around it that's just stuff that I need to get dealt with and sorted and worked through. Didn't even touch it. I kind of nicely and neatly stacked it, called it a day. I've got this shelf up here above our oven that always collects stuff. It makes me bananas. I'm not even getting to that today, okay? That didn't happen. The bathrooms are the only thing I have left. I'm gonna do that when I get my shower, get ready to like do dinner and kind of our evening routine, go out with the chickens and the turkey and the animals and do our walk and do our family stuff. So I'm gonna go do that. And then when I come in and get my evening shower, do my evening routine, I'm gonna wipe down both of the bathrooms so that way that's been done. Notice I said wipe down. I'm gonna make sure 3-wave system, right? Get everything out of there that shouldn't be there, wipe down all of the surfaces and mop the floors. That's it. I'm not deep cleaning. I'm not down there, scrubbing every baseboard. I'm giving it a general wipe down. So the 3-wave system is so wonderful for helping you to reset, to get this whole home reset where you can pull things together. Tomorrow, the girls and I are gonna tackle their room, doing the 3-wave in there. I'm not gonna film that. That can just be for them, but I am going to lend a hand with the girls so we can get their space feeling nice and refreshed and back to ready. So hopefully this can be an encouragement for you in your home if you're going, yes, there's all of this stuff and I don't know what to do. I hope that this can be a help. For a little more detailed help though, you guys should definitely check out my simplified approach to the Fly Lady system. Now, if I would get myself back on track, I would be feeling worlds better. So that's on my list to go back through my own system and listen to my own words of advice as well. Most on the YouTube aren't up to showing their real dirty laundry as they do all of the things, but that's not how we are around here. My house is a mess. We have Sukkot coming up. We have company on the way. We have lots to get done, plus homeschool in real life and all the other things, and my house looks like this. So let's get it cleaned up, let's get it together, and you know what? Maybe do it in a way that isn't halfway awful. Ready? Let's go. Right now I'm not feeling the lovely so much in my house because it's a mess. Hear me out. Okay, I have my reasons. We had company over for like a week and a half and it was the most amazing time in the whole wide world. But guess what? When I have company over, I'm not gonna be super stressing about all the things that need to be done because I wanna be enjoying with the people around me. If you guys have taken our homemaker boot camp, I shared all about those details and how I do it and what we did. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, click the link down below. You can still come join the homemaker boot camp. We had company over. I ended up with this weird fever. My husband and I both weren't feeling good for a few days and it was kind of really awkward and strange. Don't really know where it came from. I'm feeling better now, but then I have work to catch up on and things that need to be done, and the kids have homeschool and we were gone at speech therapy for half of the day today, and then we had to go get stuff because we've got a farm and there's animals that need to be fed and tended to. We had a new fence that had to be put up this week, right? All of these things that just go on. Now hear me out. I'm here now. I've got about half a day left. I have company that will be here and we are getting ready to celebrate Sukkot. Our family celebrates the biblical holy days and we have this amazing week of Sukkot celebration coming up, and I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, I'm gonna feel a little bit better, a lot a bit better once I have my home put back to ready and put in order. I think there is something so wonderful about having a system and how things work. I share my simplified approach to the Fly Lady system. I'll link it down below, and that stuff works great when you're doing it. But like I said, we had company, we were doing other things, I wasn't staying on track, then I wasn't feeling good, then I was playing catch up, blah, 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 blah. I don't really have time right now to just like start doing the steps and get caught up in a week. I need my house reset today. And so I figured what better way than to just make myself a nice cup of tea, put on the camera, say hey to y'all, and just show you what I'm doing. So let's walk through the before, kind of see what I have going on. I'm gonna pull out some handy dandy tools that really do help. I'll share more about that in just a minute. And then we're gonna tackle this, we're gonna get it done. Kids are in co-op, everybody's settled. I've got a little bit of time to try to slam through this, reset my home, and get ready for our upcoming festivities. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so we'll start at the door here. And as you can see, there's a lot we have going on here that we need to deal with. So first at the door, I have stuff that people have sent me that I need to even get through. Haven't done that. So that needs to be dealt with. This is stuff for fencing we have to finish, and then kind of stuff from Yom Teruah that just got put wherever, and there's not supposed to be anything on the piano. That's stuff that needs to be returned at Walmart, to Walmart. So anyways, we got some stuff to deal with here. We still have the window AC in, and the fan got moved here in front of it because it actually warmed up here a little bit the past couple days. It's not anymore. I need to deal with that. My desk space is kind of just a mess. Projects and things that haven't gotten finished. See, all real life stuff. YouTube lights. Like, there's just kind of stuff everywhere. And a sleepy dog. Hello, Lois. Yes. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I know you're just so sweet. All right, we got some stuff going on in here that needs to be dealt with. Now we come in here. I got caught up on laundry, which was great, but it means that there are loads of laundry everywhere. We got a new table. My brother got me this at the thrift store this past week, so we now have a table that fits 8 people. You guys, I'm so excited about this. Not that this is the time or place, but we do have this nice, great big table that we all fit at now, but it's covered in laundry. Partly because my kid, whose job it is to separate the laundry and put it away, that was one of the kids that was gone with me in speech therapy today. So that's all there, plus dishes and other nonsense. Boxes for a project that we need to work on. Kids stuff that is everywhere. Their laptop stand, toothpaste, cleaner, garbage, just, I mean, stuff everywhere. You see this, guys? It just happens that you end up with all kinds of stuff sprinkled around for no good reason. Like, it's just a mess. That just is what it is right now. We're not ready for company, and not because the house has to be perfect, because, like, genuinely, there's no room for the company. These are the things we need to get addressed today. I don't know, stuff, things, a messy pantry because stuff hasn't gotten put away properly. This is what we are working with. So that's airing my dirty laundry for y'all. That's everything that we have going on here. Add on to it 2 bathrooms that need to be scrubbed down. The girls' room, which is a whole nother video discussion we could talk about if you guys want to see how we're trying to transform our girls' room, because we have 3 girls sharing one room. Hi, love. In our house, and that needs to be redone, but that's going to be a different day. I'm only one person. This has to get dealt with. We at least need our gathering space here of our home ready to host company, and we need our bathrooms clean. Those are my, those things have to happen, and before company gets here, we'll go outside with the leaf blower and kind of tidy up so the kids have plenty of place to run and play. All the leaves are falling, and we just don't want to have a snake bite situation, because yes, we've been there before as well. So those of you who've been around for a while, you know, you remember those videos. So I am going to take the next couple hours. This is how I do this when I have to tackle and get a bunch of stuff done. I usually put on some music, or I pop in an earbud and I put on a sermon or a podcast, or just let my Bible app play or whatever. Usually do that. I start in one room because I will get distracted and I'll end up starting more projects that I complete. Maybe you've been there. I am there. One room. I go in a clockwise rotation with a 3-wave process. What I mean by that, first, I get everything that shouldn't be there, I put it in a basket. I can walk around with a laundry basket or a bag or something, so that way I'm not leaving and going to that room. If it doesn't belong in that room, I put in the laundry basket. The stuff that's out, I put it where it needs to go, right? Does it need to go in the trash? Does it need to get put in a different room? Then I set it in the basket. Does it need to just get put away in the room that it's in? Tidy up that space. Then I clean the surfaces. So starting from top to bottom, if it needs to be dusted, it needs to be wiped, it needs to be whatevered, it gets cleaned up. And then the last wave is to clean the floors. And I'm telling y'all, having the right tool for the job makes all the difference. I love having tools that I love using, because then it makes the job enjoyable. And if we have to be doing this stuff all the time, we might as well make it enjoyable. So I'll share with you guys what I'm using. Actually even have a really special thing for you guys that I'm really excited to share with you, so I will do that here in a minute. But I do that. I start in one room, I work in a clockwise rotation doing those 3 waves. Then I move to the next room, same 3 waves, clockwise rotation. I just keep doing that until I've hit all the spaces. And then the stuff that's in the laundry basket I'm hauling around with me, when I get to the room in which things belong to, I just put it away while I'm there. So that way, you see what I mean? I'm not going from the living room and being like, oh, this needs to go in my room, and then I take it to my room. And then when I'm in my room, I get distracted and I do something else. And then, you know, it just kind of repeats and becomes this like out of control snowball. So I just put it in the basket. When I get to the room it needs to be in, I just check the basket. Ooh, this needs to get put in here. I put it away real quick, move on to the next. So I will stop talking. Let's get cleaning. I always start with our living room because our living room is most always the easiest room to tackle. And it gives me a little sense of accomplishment. It's like that pat on the back, and I feel like I'm doing a really good job. So I'm gonna start with the living room, which is kind of the easiest. I kind of take the easy way out. But let's see if I can do it, because it's already almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know where my day has gone, so I need to kind of, I need to chop here, okay? Let's just be honest. Let's get to this. Okay, I had to pause and get kiddos switched over for their co-op classes. Might have got a little distracted with the fan, but it was really gross. It needs to be cleaned. I'm gonna get back to my 3-wave process. I understand the clock is ticking, so Ken and Crows are going back on the speaker. I'm gonna get back to it. Let's clean. friends, literally 2 hours on the dot, and I got stopped a couple of times. I switched to sparkling water instead of a cup of tea. But my main living space is back to ready. It's not perfect. Got some things on my desk I need to sit down and probably tackle this evening. At least I have a basket over there that it's all contained in. I do have the stuff right here that needs to get put back to the rooms when I go. Luckily, it was like some big blankets and a pillow, so that's easy to put away. I will go ahead and just scrub down the bathrooms really quick, slam those out so that we will be ready to go to enjoy our Sukkot festivities, having our friends over and just enjoying that fellowship time together. Again, having tools that work, even when your system has gone wonky, makes a big difference in being able to catch up on all of the things. I wipe stuff down real quickly. I am loving this Scrub Daddy duster. It's actually quite cool. Then I just have one of my e-cloths that I use to wipe down anything else that I need. Giving everything a wipe down. Guys, I've talked for so many years about vacuum mops and how much I love them. My robotic vacuum that runs every night, things like that. My vacuum and my mop, they're self-cleaning. So now I've just putting everything, I gotta put the vacuum in there, I already put the mop in there. You put it on, you click a button, it takes care of it, and I'm good to go. Like, what is better than that? And hopefully my kicking booty here and getting my house back in order can be something to encourage you. I know sometimes it can feel like it's so overwhelming, but just setting your mind to it, working through in a system, like picking a room, going around, not getting distracted, not getting pulled off in other ways, and then moving on to the next room. 2 hours is what it's taken me. And then most likely this evening, I'll spend about 30 minutes and get both of our bathrooms just scrubbed and cleaned real quick. I'm just gonna go in there and do that, and then I'll go into my evening routine and we will be ready to go. So, wait, the floors are finishing drying. I'm gonna put my chairs down. I got my stuff self-cleaning, which is always so wonderful. Breathe that sigh of relief as everything is put back to ready, and we can really just now gather in together as a family. The weather's been so beautiful here in Western North Carolina, and I am ready for a relaxing evening, a wonderful weekend with friends and fellowship. There's two things, right, that are inevitable in life, death and taxes. But you know what? I would add a third to that list, and that is having to clean your house. So if we know we're gonna have to do it, there's no way around it. We might as well find a way to make it enjoyable. And I will say that, quite honestly, call me what you want, I love cleaning my house, but I've done something specifically to make it that way, because that certainly was not always the case, and I'm going to share that with you here today because I love this topic of homemaking. And I will say that I got married at 17, we had a child, and on my 18th birthday, we moved into our first home. I did not know how to keep a home, okay? Did not know, and I really struggled with it. That is a main reason why I share my cleaning solution. I do a simplified approach to the Fly Lady system, and we can link that down below. If you guys would like to get my whole setup over there, I will hook you up with that. It's right down there. I now am that person. I really do enjoy cleaning my home. I enjoy keeping up on it. Do I do it perfectly and is everything wonderful? No, but do I enjoy it? Yeah, I really do. And I've really focused on certain things to help me do that. And I think that having the right tool makes the task enjoyable. And so I want to share with you guys here today my top 5 tools that make cleaning enjoyable. I love a day of cleaning the house. That is one of my hobbies. Working out in the yard, that's one of my hobbies. Like, I enjoy these things, but we've also made very specific decisions to get the specific tools that make these tasks enjoyable. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm using, why I love it, and how it really does make the death, taxes, and house cleaning that we all have to live with, the house cleaning part at least, how it makes that really enjoyable. Now, this first kind of group of things here is really simple and really inexpensive, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I don't know how else to explain it other than it makes a difference. And guys, I went and I picked up new ones because we were in need, and I have gotten a lot of scrubbing that needs to happen in some bathrooms. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna treat myself here. I think I spent maybe 10 bucks. And I picked up some good sponges and one of my favorite soaps. Some sponges and soaps that really can be a simple thing that makes your cleaning enjoyable. What is the saying? Like, you know you're X amount of years old when you get excited for a new sponge. I love these. I was probably one of the last people onto the Scrub Mommy, Scrub Daddy sponge train, but I finally tried one day. I picked it up. This one needs to be replaced, but this is just the regular scrubber sponge too. That's why I got new ones, because that one's been lovingly used for a while now. I love these sponges. They are amazing and totally worth it. We pick them up periodically, use them, put them in the dishwasher to clean them, and I love this. And so something as simple as picking up a new sponge, and like a nice sponge, which yes, I am that old. I am what, 35, 36, however old I am, and I get excited for a good sponge. And I love the Dawn Power Wash Spray. I like keeping things as natural and simple as I can, but sometimes you need a good soap to just get in there and get scrubbing. I picked up this one. It's got a bit of a lemon scent, which I'm really loving. I visited my dad's house at the beginning of last year, and he had this, and I had seen all the commercials for it, and I was like, is it really worth the hype? I love this stuff, and you can clean like everything with it. So I'm telling you, if you want to make it enjoyable, find those little things. Those things, maybe it's not exactly this kind, but find that thing that just a good sponge and a good soap really can make the difference. I am going to share with you guys, I saw this when I was doing my Walmart pickup order to order some of this stuff. It's a damp duster by Scrub Daddy. Never used it before. I'm getting ready because again, I got some cleaning to do, but I did pick up one of these. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below if you guys have used this before, but it's a dusting sponge. You just moisten it, and apparently it's like a super awesome, amazing duster. And I've got like 80 bajillion animals in my house, so dusting is something that always has to happen. First thing that makes home cleaning, home keeping enjoyable, some good soap and good sponges. That will make a difference. My second tool that makes home cleaning really enjoyable is my handy dandy steamer. I will link this down below, and I've also done some other videos with it. We'll try to link my cleaning playlist up here so that way you guys can check them out, or I'll link it down in the description. If you don't see it, just ask me. But I got this steamer. It was not expensive at all. I think I spent $30-ish on it. I'll have to look, and I'll put it down below, especially if I can find a coupon code for you guys. But I love this thing. Oh wow, it is amazing. You have not felt real clean until you have steam cleaned, let me just tell you. I use the steam cleaner on nearly everything. Anything that I can't pressure wash, we'll get to that next, I steam clean. I use this thing to clean all of our cabinets, our walls, furniture, mattresses. It's amazing how well it gets in the nooks and crannies of everything and just blasts it all out and gets it so clean. There's pretty much nothing in our house that I haven't tried the steam cleaner on. And what I really love about it is it's fun, it's very satisfying, and it's quick. It really does take a lot of that like deep scrubbing, like elbow grease, like tiring you out type, work out of it, and just makes it really fun and enjoyable. I have this one, I've got the hose, I have different attachments. I can clean like all of our windows, I can do that, our glass door. You can clean so much with a steam cleaner. They are not that expensive, and it is a tool that is so handy. It gets the job done and done well, and it's fun and enjoyable in the process. So I highly recommend one of these little handy dandy like personal steam cleaners to anyone. I would like to invest in one of like the big huge ones with the tank and like the wand, like the professional cleaning ones of it. I love this thing so much that like I would invest in something like that if I had the ability, because it just really works well, really makes the job fun, and it gets my workload done a lot quicker, and that is something I can get behind. The third thing I'm going to recommend to you guys here today, I understand is an outside thing, but I use it for inside. Hear me out. And that would be a pressure washer. You guys, you've got to have a pressure washer. I lived so many years without one, and now since having one, my whole family will make jokes about it because I literally clean nearly everything that I can with my pressure washer. I love a pressure washer even for things inside the house. Things like the grate in our kitchen sink here. I've got a big wide sink, and it's got that nice big grate in the bottom of it. That thing gets yucky, and yes, I take my sponge and I wipe it down and I do all of that, but it gets gross. And so I will at least once a month take it outside, set it on the patio, and power wash it. That gets it clean. We used to have metal chairs in our dining room. I got 4 kids, stuff gets dirty. I take my chairs outside, they get pressure washed. Rugs. Having rugs that you can pressure wash is so worth it. Even for us, we just picked up a rug for our living room. The reason why we hadn't had one was because I had been waiting to get one that was an indoor-outdoor rug so that it could be easily pressure washed. We got this one from Walmart. I'll try to link it down below if I can find it. I think we paid 40 bucks for it. It's a great size. It's pretty. It is soft to the touch, but it's an indoor-outdoor rug, so I can just take it out and pressure wash it. At least once a season, get it good and clean. If there's a spill or an accident, it's really easy to clean up. Having a pressure washer is so helpful. I'm loving the one. My pressure washer that I've had for years finally broke, and I use it like crazy, so I don't even blame it. But we did get a new one, and I got a little bit of a bigger, better one, and it's amazing. I think I paid just over 100 bucks for it, and it is well worth it. We have already put that thing to good use. So a pressure washer is definitely a tool that even for stuff that goes inside, being able to take it outside and pressure wash it gets it so clean so quickly, and honestly it's just satisfying and enjoyable. So it's not even like a bunch of hard work when you're having a good time. Friends, this 4th tool here, can I just say I'm so excited to share this with you, genuinely. You guys know, because I talk about it all the time, how much I love my vacuum mop. I got the Tyneco vacuum mop years ago. I don't even know, I mean, it's been multiple years. And I did go ahead and I upgraded it to a different one at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And it's been great. It really has genuinely been wonderful. I'm all ears for a good vacuum mop. Like, I love these things, lifesavers. Every home should have a vacuum mop, especially if the majority of your floors are a hard surface. Our whole house is hard surface floors, so it's like an absolute necessity. But if you've got any space of hard floors, you need a vacuum mop. I got a lot of people and a lot of animals running through my house. We live out in the country. Our floors get dirty. You wouldn't know it though, because I run my amazing floor products on a normal basis. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite tools to use, and it works so well. You just put some water in it, put your solution, start it up, off you go. You get it all done in one, and it does a wonderful job cleaning up pet accidents, kid accidents, spilt food, spilt drinks. It makes it so easy. I am obsessed with this. So my Tyneco one that I've used for years, are they great? Yes, they're great. So a vacuum mop for me is a total homemaker must. Like, I will never live a day again without a vacuum mop. And last but not least, my favorite homemaker things that make cleaning truly enjoyable would be my robot vacuum that is back there. I think it's so important to have a little bit of thought into our homemaking, and I shared with you guys in this video right up here about just kind of prioritizing your day and how to keep up with all the things and how to do it all. For me, something that really bothers me is cluttered surfaces and dirty floors. Like, those things make a huge impact to me in our home. And so finding resources, finding tools that make the task of keeping our floors clean is really helpful and so worth every dollar spent. That's why we have our robotic vacuum. I will link the one that I have. We actually got it on like super clearance at Walmart, so we got a really great deal on it. We did upgrade. We had the same iLife one for the past like 5 years. It's amazing. It's still linked in our Shop Our Home links for our Amazon store, so you guys can still go get the original one we had. I just really wanted one that could empty itself. We run ours twice a day, and that thing is packed full all the time because I have a lot of animals. We live in the country. I got a lot of kids, right? We have a lot of stuff going through, so we get our money's worth out of that guy, absolutely. I got a self-emptying one, and I love this. It's automatically scheduled. It goes, it runs, it just does everything. I have it run once in the middle of the day to just kind of pick up and keep things tidy, and then we run it every evening. It self-empties itself, and then I come in periodically when my app pops up and says, hey, can you empty my bag? I empty the bag, and it's good to go. I absolutely love our vacuum. We call him Roby, and he is the hardest worker here in our house next to our Ultinic mop. So having this automatic floor cleaner, huge. It makes everything just so much easier, so much more enjoyable. And really big win here, because he just runs periodically and it's already scheduled. The kids have to stay up on picking their stuff up. At first, when we started, it was kind of a really big deal every night to go around and make sure everything was up off of the floor. We've been using this for so long, I don't even have to think about it. Even the kids, I rarely have to remind them. They just know, keep your stuff picked up off the floor or Roby's gonna eat it and then it's gonna be gone. And I love that has really just made this like, I'm not going around nagging anyone. It just kind of naturally happens that we keep our floors picked up, we keep things off of them, we don't have cords and stuff laying around. And that little guy just goes to work. He vacuums everything up, all of the big stuff. I come through with my old Tenic mop. I've got, all this, and we're able to keep a home relatively clean and tidy in an enjoyable manner without way too much work on my part. And that is worth its weight in gold. So friends, those would be my top 5 tools that make keeping the home enjoyable. We have to clean, we got to keep up with the stuff, all of the things that we have going on. Why not make it enjoyable, easy, right? That's why we share the things that we do, the tools quite literally that we're using, my cleaning system, like my simplified approach to Fly Lady, and then ways to really dig into the heart of the matter, as it is truly our mission here to encourage and equip other families to the glory of God. If this can be something to help you, help another, you want to pass it on, share it with them, then that's what it's here to be. There is nothing worse than those things in our home that just make us crazy. If you have to pick up those socks one more time, if you have to deal with that area of clutter one more time, you might lose your marbles. So friends, today I'm going to share with you my ultimate guide for removing these frustrations from our home and creating a stress-free space that we love to be in. I'm so excited you guys are here today because we are going to talk about frustration in the home, because I think for all of us, regardless of where you are in home life, there are those things that are just so frustrating, right? What's that saying? Cleaning with kids is like brushing your teeth while eating Oreos. There are certain things that can be so frustrating and really just overwhelming and discouraging when it comes to keeping the home, keeping a space that can truly nurture and comfort our families. Our home is supposed to be our refuge, our space that's just so free from the world and all of its chaos that we can all come to and really just enjoy our time together. And that's really difficult to do when you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, right? So I want to share with you guys today the top things that I try to do to really help create a stress-free home for our family to enjoy, for me to keep up with, and for kind of everything in between. So hopefully these tips and tricks here can be a blessing for you. You can start to implement them today. You can start to really hold that mirror up and think about these things as you go through your home and your space to create something that is enjoyable. Now, is our home perfect? Absolutely not. If y'all saw yesterday's video, you saw what it looked like last night before we came in and did our tidy up. Is our space perfect all the time? Absolutely not. This is a real house with real people, okay? Nothing fancy here. But these are the tips and tricks that I implement even in an old ugly rental house to keep our space stress-free, to remove these frustrations. And I do this consistently. At least once a season, I try to go through these exact steps to really work through these things. As life changes and different things come on our plates at different times, we have to re-implement these and say, hey, what isn't working for me? Let's get that taken care of. So let's talk about these tips. Step 1 would be to identify these frustrations. If you want to walk around with a pencil and paper and write them down, what are the things in your home that really are frustrating you? For me, a lot of it is surfaces. I cannot stand clutter on surfaces. I don't know, it just overwhelms me. Maybe it's the ADHD, maybe it's, I don't know what it is. It overwhelms me. And I noticed that one day. I noticed that was a trigger for me. Stuff all over the counters makes me feel like I feel cluttered. I feel overwhelmed. And clutter attracts clutter. So it takes a couple things sitting there and then a couple more things get there. And the next thing you know, everybody's dumping stuff there. So for me, stuff laying on the counters, that's a big frustration. And the same way with our floors. Floors being dirty and just stuff on them. I don't know, if I walk around and I'm like feeling dog hair and debris like sticking to my feet, that nuts me out. I don't like that. That's very frustrating. I've got my amazing robotic vacuum right there that's just scheduled to run every day. I have my amazing vacuum mop to help me keep on top of it, right? I identified the frustration. So then, spoiler alert, we're gonna have the steps of how to work through it. But I had to identify that frustration first. And so really stop and think about, what are the things in your home that are really frustrating you? Are they items? Are they tasks? Is it a setup or a practicality of use? What is it that is causing you the most frustration? What are the things that are really stressful and really overwhelming for you to take care of your home, your space, your people? You all know I am all about finding the root, finding the reason, the heart issue, right? The second step here, why is it frustrating? What is it, right? First we have to figure out what it is. Now we need to figure out why. Why is it frustrating? Do you have too much? Are you just being too lazy? Is something just not right? What is it that's causing a breakdown here? Are you overwhelmed by the fact that there's always dishes in the sink and you're finding dishes all over the house? Is there a rule that needs to be established in the home of, hey, we only eat in the kitchen. We don't take dishes into our bedroom, right? So you're not finding them randomly all over the place. Why is that frustrating? Like I said, I noticed that the countertops being cluttered. It makes me feel like overwhelmed. Like, to me, it just, the clutter everywhere just makes my mind go bananas. I had to figure out that why. It was, I can't sort through and keep stuff when I'm being distracted by things everywhere. We're really big on toys not being left just strewn about all over the house, because that why of then things were getting lost. Then kids later were having issues with kids because they couldn't find things or things were broken. You know, we had to dig into that root. We had to dig into the why. Is something just not working well because you haven't implemented a system? You're not doing this regularly. You're not keeping up on these things. Friends, I will share with you my simplified approach to the Fly Lady system. If just house cleaning in general is overwhelming, I'll link it down below. I've been doing this for the past nearly 2 decades of being a wife and a mom, and it is life-changing. And if it can be a blessing to you, amen, that's what it's there to be. But really, let's pause. First, identify what the frustrations are. Secondly, let's identify the why. Get to the root. Now that we've done a little bit of the deep heart stuff, let's get into my 3 R's to take care of these frustrations. My third point here would be to remove. Get rid of it. What are the things that are making you crazy? Is it the same collection of junk strewn about the counters or the floors or left laying outside or whatever it is? Get rid of it. Obviously, it's something that we're not too concerned about if we're constantly just leaving it laying around. It keeps getting forgotten. I implemented a rule with our kids when we very first got our robotic vacuum that anything that's out at the end of the night goes to the trash before Roby, our handy dandy robot vacuum, sucks it up. Because obviously you're not too concerned about it if you're leaving it laying out. You're not taking care of it. You're not concerned about it. And so go through and think about these frustrations. Are they things that you can remove? If you're constantly moving the same stuff, constantly picking up the same stuff, constantly having to deal with the same stuff, is it because you just have all this excess and you don't need it, and so it's constantly getting laid out and constantly not being prioritized to care for? Maybe it's time to remove it. The second R of the process here would be to rework it. Maybe the system just isn't working. Maybe the space and the way that it's laid out just isn't working. Maybe it's not necessarily the item that's the frustration, but it's the system set up around it. Maybe you don't have a cleaning routine and schedule, and you need to go do the simplified Fly Lady system and get something established. Maybe it's some furniture, the way you have something set up, or kind of just your family's interaction with it that needs to be reworked. It's amazing how taking something, maybe the system worked great in a different season, maybe it looks great on paper, maybe it sounds really good for someone else, but it's not practical to your family and what best serves your home. Maybe it's time to rework that. Maybe it's time to say, what would our ideal scenario here be? Well, I think ideally what would work best is if we boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, rework it. Go to your ideal scenario and try that out. See if that truly does work better at serving your home, your family in this season. The third R here would be maybe you need to just replace it. Let's be honest. I get it, it's hard. We are a ministry family. We have not had an actual income in 5 years. I can really struggle with just holding on to things that aren't the right item, they're not the right fit, they're probably not even in great shape, but I keep holding on to it, hoping that it will be what we need it to be. And we work with what we got in each season, and I understand that, always trusting in the Lord to provide exactly what it is that we need, but sometimes we need to be honest and say, hey, this is not the proper solution. This is not the proper item. Maybe it's time to say, this is really frustrating, because it needs to be replaced. This isn't what we need here. Doesn't mean it has to be expensive. We get the best with what we have, but maybe it's time to just call a spade and say, yeah, this is really frustrating here because we don't have the proper solution. We need to get creative. We need to replace this. We need to set up a better thing here to make this all work. Don't be afraid to call that spade out and say, hey, we need to rework this. We need to replace this and get the item here, get the system here, whatever it may be, to actually set our home up for success. So a quick recap here. First, identify your frustrations. What are they? What is driving you nuts? Secondly, find the roots. Why? Why is that so frustrating? And then once we've done that, we can move into the final 3 steps, which is either remove it, rework it, or replace it. And by doing that consistently, you don't just one and done, it's something we just start doing. It's just a part of what we do in the process we go through as homemakers. We continue to do this in every season of life, so that way we can remove those frustrations. We can get them out of here and set our home up in a stress-free way that really is what we need. How best we can serve our family, how best we can support our spouse, how best we can open our home up to others and let it be a place of nurturing comfort. And that is what it's all about, because keeping the home is so important. It is such a blessing, and it can be difficult, especially when we're dealing with a bunch of frustrations around us that really just make us go nuts. I know sometimes I don't even want to deal with it. I've kind of walked through the house with blinders on because I'm like, I can't right now. So hopefully this can be an encouragement to you in your home. I know for me, I got some frustrating spots that I'm doing these exact steps through, tackling them to really clear out those things that are making me go a little bananas because they are not working for our home in this season of life. So hopefully you were able to do the same. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what area of your house is the most frustrating. As you think about identifying these, what are those things that really just make you go, that, if I could fix that, it would all be better? Leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you guys with a little more encouragement along these lines that I think you're going to enjoy watching. Bye, friends.